I'm going live right now.
So we're just sitting here waiting for some people to join.
But yeah, you're on camera.
Nice.
So, yeah. Should we a working launch? Some doesn't move. Nice. So it's for they don't know. Okay. And now. Wait, so person who does intro, other person does outro.
More or less, yeah. Look for that. Alright, so it seems like people are starting to stream in to our stream, which is good. I started off the stream with a joke, but we're going to give it a couple more seconds so people continue to roll on in here, but we can start off with a little bit of intros about who are these two random people. You're the president. I want you to go first.
Oh, I appreciate the first turn. So, as Andrew introduced myself, my name's Ryan Cartwright. I'm a fourth year chemical engineering student. I'm the current president of the student chapter here at Ohio State. So I've been here for about 3 years now in EWB. It's been one of my best college decisions that I've ever made. So yeah, I'll let Andrew go ahead and now introduce himself.
Absolutely. I'm Andrew. I'm the vice president of operations. This is I'm also a fourth year chemical engineering student.
That's crazy.
Which is go chemies. Any chemies out there watching? Way to go. We're representing up here. Like I said, fourth year with the club. Kind of similar to Ryan. It's been a fantastic experience so far. I've done so many things with local stuff, international stuff. More things you'll hear about during these next 3 hours or so during this live stream here. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me. Ryan and I will be the hosts for today. We'll be going through some things. Before we start with that, I guess, Ryan, do you want to just tell them who EWB is, what we do, what we're about?
Oh, I'd be so happy to tell you and everyone that's listening right now. So if you're not familiar with us, we are the student chapter, Ohio State's student chapter of Engineers Without Borders, within the whole national organization being EWB USA. So obviously we're a student-led organization, so what we do is we focus on a lot of sustainable solutions using our engineering skills to try to develop some sort of humanitarian development project. So most notably would be our international project. A lot of people kind of come to EWB for that. That would be our Nijao project, which is now excitedly on its 5th year. Which will be closing out soon. We'll be approaching remote implementation, which is also new for us. And then something recently is local projects, which has been taking up a storm with Katie and Noah leading it. We've had now turned in from 3 people every meeting to now 30 returning members. So a lot has been increasing pretty recently. And then obviously our fundraising, marketing, social district, which is what makes everything possible. That's what put on this live stream. It's what funds all of our projects. And it's really just the mitochondria that we say of EWB. So yeah, that's a little about EWB. And then I'll let Andrew kind of talk about what we're going to be doing during the live stream and why we're here.
Exactly. So why are we here? Fundraising, especially as a student-led chapter, it's hard to get the contacts just as students. So fundraising is a huge part about what we do. International work is super expensive. So that's what this live stream is. For donations from anyone watching to hope to give us some money. And I'll just say every cent given is spent on doing an actual actionable item. How much are you paid to be president of this club?
Oh, I'm getting a fat $0.
$0. No one here makes any money. We don't rent out spaces. We don't have corporate retreats for anything. Every single cent we get in here, we immediately push back out into either the local community in the Columbus area as well as internationally. So we're going to let you guys see a couple of the really awesome things that we're doing internationally, locally. We also got a couple of fun skits. This was a really great way for our club to kind of come together during COVID. There's so many people in this club, and with the 10 people or less rule, it is difficult for us to kind of get together and grow as a club to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So there's a couple reasons we did this fundraiser. Obviously the main one being fundraising, but as well as to let everyone else know exactly what we're doing and why you should donate.
Yeah.
So I
We're
think
really hitting all heads of the dimension. We'll kind of start going. I think most excitedly is my favorite potentially with Pepper Challenge that a couple of our membership team took on, and actually Andrew did as well in live streams on Instagram.
Yes.
And so I'm getting forward to look everyone kind of cry as they try to take all of the ghost peppers.
Right, so the whole membership team, we all ate a single ghost pepper. We had, and we're about to show you our reaction video to that. If you do, please go ahead and enjoy our first segment.
Out. But ready.
Okay, we're getting some reports that there was no sound on our first video. So first technical difficulty of the afternoon. There's probably going to be more. That's a live stream for you.
Yeah.
It's something to be expected for us.
Right. It's kind of nice that you guys get to see this real pure with us. We're obviously working through all of this, as you guys are too. So thank you for staying patient with all of us.
But no worries. We got the brain trust in the back. I mean, I see 3 laptops back there. Everyone's clicking away. I don't think this will be a problem for long. If not,
Was there audio on the record play?
so we're gonna kind of stall for you a little bit and talk a little bit about the community that we serve currently. So Zhao is in the Gambia, which is a kind of a tiny country like inside Senegal. It's like a little river valley more or less. So a lot of you at home may have not heard of it before, but we've been there for 5 years now.
Are you on?
It's a really great community. Brian, you want to tell them a little bit about the work we've done there?
Yeah, of course. So the main project that we have with Nishao is really a water irrigation system, which is kind of interesting to do with like just a bunch of college students who really have no experience with building some sort of irrigation system with this. So what we've done recently really is pretty much laying the groundwork for implementing the actual system itself. So that includes like drilling a borehole, making sure that the pump is correctly placed in there, doing all sort of like structural tests for that. And then it comes to actually building our water tank, which we'll be doing in the near future. Obviously, we've done a lot of verification and validation behind all of that. So once we have now had all of those comments and documentation approved, we'll be moving forward to remote implementation, which is pretty exciting. And really exciting too is that Andrew actually was able to travel into the Nijao community. So would you mind kind of telling them your experience there for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went during December and January, right before the world shut down for COVID, which was perfect timing for us. And we actually implemented like the biggest thing that we wanted to do was to actually drill down about 40 meters, I think it was, to get to the aquifer there, and make sure that we got water for the community. So there's a dry season and a wet season there. The wet season only lasts about 3 months, I believe. And during the dry season, it's obviously very dry, very difficult to get water, very difficult for agriculture. So that was the main point of our borehole design. So I was there for 20 in country, which was a long time. Obviously, it was a great experience, and one of the greatest things about this club, about this organization in general, was that there's such an emphasis on not just going in and just trying to put a Band-Aid on a problem or solving a problem ourselves by doing the building, the designing, and just kind of leaving it there. While we were there were so many examples of projects done by different groups that just kind of fell into disrepair really quickly. So it was great that we were working with the community the entire time. That's the biggest thing about our club, is that they take ownership of the projects. They pay for part of the projects. We communicate with them as much as possible, saying, this is yours, this is how you fix it, this is how you maintain it. When we leave, we want it to continue to work for them. There's too many examples of stuff not working after 5 years, and it really becomes more harmful than helpful for those groups of people. So,
kind of like the main example that we really strive for with Engineers Without Borders. Ever since we've joined, it's really kind of just been an initiative that what we're doing is a sustainable solution. It's kind of drilled into us at this point, where we really make sure that everything that we're implementing is done correctly and we're shipped over their project. A lot of times, like Andrew mentioned, it's kind of just a service project. It's a one and done thing, and then you're out of the country, and then you never hear from them again, and the system really degrades in sometimes 1 to 2 years. And at this point, we're getting word that our technical services are back up. I also want to say hi to Taylor. I know that she commented in the chat, and that got communicated to me too. So with that, I'm going to transition back to the Ghost Pepper video.
Hello everyone, welcome to membership committee from Engineers Without Borders. Thank you for all your donations. I think there's some more fundraising to do, but today we're going to be eating a ghost pepper, 1 million on the Scoville scale. I'm not looking forward to it, but we have raised with everyone's donation so far $600, which is awesome for the club. Also, a quick disclaimer, we have all tested negative for COVID yesterday. We tested yesterday and got our results today, so all of us are healthy. So we're going to try our best to social distance, but I think we're just going to probably be in agony the whole time. So, let's see.
Oh my god.
The whole thing?
I'm not thinking
My mouth is like, my mouth's watering.
Eat the whole thing.
You want the rest of
about
it? Wait, are we chewing or not? I'm chewing.
Chew for a couple seconds and swallow.
I think it's gonna be hard to bite through this.
Alright, let's just go. 3, 2, 1.
Go. Joe had a bigger bite than you.
Break it down. Oh, so dry. What's up? What's up? Oh my god.
Oh. Let's get hot.
Let's get real hot real quick. Hang on, Joe.
Oh no.
Oh, that was gross. Oh. Ooh, that's good.
Joe! Oh my god. How did he take a bite?
Good, yes.
Joe.
That tastes so good. Milk helps so much. It's so dry. Yeah, keep drinking that stuff.
Heck of dirt. Mmm. Oh. Oh my god.
Yeah, that burns.
That's not bad. I missed a basket. I was tasting in Cleveland. Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh, breathing's bad.
Yum.
Oh. I like the back of my tongue. Oh.
You get awesome.
Woo! Oh my god. Allie, how you feeling?
I'm crying.
Hannah?
No, great.
Sure. I've never been better. I feel so alive.
No comment?
My tongue.
The tongue is the worst part.
Yeah.
I don't feel like wrestling now. It's at the back of my
I got
throat.
tears in my eyes. Yeah, shit on Natalie.
Oh, it's got hotter.
You got the shower?
It's like, oh, it's got some way more calm down. It's not calming down.
It's got way hotter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got way hotter. Oh, just moving around now. Moving around helps a little bit.
Try to remind yourself this isn't real, you know?
What's up, guys?
It's our bodies pretending like it's actually hot. It's not actually hot.
I almost threw up at the beginning. Oh my god.
You ever know how long you're supposed to last?
I don't know.
You guys did this.
It's in my nose.
You did this.
That is true. You guys didn't do it.
You guys did this.
Don't forget we did raise $600.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
I do, but like, I do another bite.
Oh my god.
You should got the whole pepper, Hannah.
Don't do that to me, Tom. For a second, I thought I was calming down. I came right back.
Alright, Joe. Need one second bite.
What do you mean second bite? What does that mean?
Right.
This is my 13th bite.
Joe, I'll take my bite if you do.
Oh, the pepper?
Yeah.
What are you nuts? No.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
You're not only- You're not-
$300 for taking another bite.
Another bite's coming, folks.
Donation's coming.
Yeah.
If we reach $100 in donations, Eric will do 6 more peppers.
I'll just dump the bag in his mouth.
Alright, one more bite. One more bite.
One more bite?
One more bite.
I'll do it.
Hannah's doing it for another bite.
I got no bite.
I ran out of it.
Yeah.
Why don't you put it on the same situation? This is my second four.
Yep, another bite's coming kind of long way.
Oh god, I'm so scared. Those things look into me.
Oh, that's so hot.
Just nursing around ice cream on your tongue. Oh, yeah.
Dude, whenever I go, ice cream, it gets so hot.
Alright, I'll do another bite.
Oh,
Oh, it just looks evil.
You good shot.
ice cream tastes awesome, by the way.
Alright, one more bite. One more bite. Alright. We're good?
Wait,
That's a trooper. Oh, you got some people saying add another bite.
No!
Watch party.
Oh, it's so hot.
Um,
Alright, one more bite. Alright. Like, stop eating the ice cream. Go. One more bite.
Count down. Go, count down.
3, 2, 1.
Ghost pepper Chad.
Another bite.
Oh, it's such a nice crunch.
Oh, this got like way worse. This one here, the crunch.
I mean, yeah, you ate more of it.
No, but I didn't eat. This sucks. Oh, very bad. Why would you hurt? It hurts.
$600.
It keeps
600
hurting.
reasons why we didn't have
No,
power.
it won't stop hurting. Every time I think it's coming down, it comes right back.
You don't have some sort of ice cream or milk in your mouth.
Good. Doing it on my phone. What's the audience saying? You know, I thought I paid for no milk. That was $1,200. That was our hospital.
All right, get us to 1,200 and we'll stop drinking milk.
Oh, tissue time.
Hey, shout out Mom, shout out Dad.
Yeah.
We thought those mild wings that he does were spicy. This is different breed.
We have extra if anyone wants to stop by.
We do, yeah.
I don't know.
It's a good experience.
Wait.
Anyone need a refill?
There's nothing to say.
I don't know what to say.
Alright, I got one thing to say. The ice cream is helping so much more than the milk.
Yeah.
The ice cream is the MVP. You ever find yourself in a situation where you eat a ghost pepper? Bring ice cream. The beginning was like maybe the worst. There was a moment where you just don't know when it's gonna get better. It just keeps getting worse. You're like, how much worse can it get?
Gary's gonna have the toilet crying later than Gary.
Like, it's gotta get better at some point.
Also, quick shout out for John and Jared. They did a full pepper.
Oh yeah, feet on. I don't touch it, but you can.
That was mine. I take half of it.
Are we doing the Carolina record next week?
Yeah.
Actually,
We're
in
going
fact,
We're going for the 2 million Scoville challenge.
I don't know video. EWB Nation, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, membership committee. All the donations, we really appreciate it. That was for you. Actually, we don't appreciate it. That was horrible. But no, seriously, we appreciate it. Anyone wants to add anything?
A quick word.
You got it.
I would just like to say to everybody in Engineers Without Borders Ohio State, if you can find a better committee, I'd like to see it because I'm looking around. I'm not seeing anyone else doing good job.
No one else. That's the dedication on creative. Everyone good? Sign off? Let's do our tagline. Serge.
Our tagline.
The tagline.
Members
Yeah.
with the mostest. Membership committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking at
Wow. All right. So it's nice watching a million Scoville. I can't even imagine what that's like. Can
Let's be, I guess, like 3 times hotter than a habanero. Yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
you guys all saw that. It was quite the experience. Got some more people in, kind of in the middle of that segment. So.
Yeah, so if you're joining us now, this is the EWB live stream. What we just showed was our membership team doing a ghost
Pepper eating challenge.
Eating challenge, yes. Whereas a million Scovilles, I think a jalapeno is like 3,000. So
Something like that. Yeah.
something ridiculous. It was nice watching everyone cry for a little bit.
It was good team building for the membership
Yeah.
committee a little bit.
Yeah, I think everyone's growing a little bit closer after all of that.
But yeah, thank you for the new people joining. Heads up, we got some more skits coming your way. We have some more different informational things about this fundraiser / just about our club in general. So the hope of this fundraiser is to get money for our club to do the awesome things we do internationally and locally. But before we get to our next segment, I want to thank some of the most recent donors we had. So thank you to Matthew Greenwald, Natalie Merrill, Jane Glaser Gormley, and Dolores Kresich. Sorry if I butchered anyone's names. We really appreciate any donations. Like I said before, literally every cent goes back into the community. There's no overhead in this club. There's no salaries. Every cent we receive is going to doing good. It's pure as that. So, Ryan, you want to talk a little bit about the next sketch? I guess we're going into.
Wow, thank you for such a transition. So the next sketch that we have is going to be our international project leads. What they're going to do is kind of talk about the international project from two of the veterans who will be kind of transitioning out pretty soon here. So without further ado, I'll hand.
Hello, I'm Emery. I'm here with Dante and Lily, who are the current international leads. If you guys want to say a little something, or
Lily, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go. Hi guys, I'm Lily. I'm a third-year student at Ohio State, and I'm one of the international project leads for international projects this semester.
Hi everybody, I'm Dante. I am in my first year of grad school here in ISE. Been an international lead for 2 years, and this is going to be my last couple of months. Loved it so far, and excited to talk a little bit more about it.
Awesome. So for people who don't quite know what the international project is and like what international overall is, if you guys want to give like a quick breakdown of what we do on this part of EWB.
Sure. So what we do is our project has a multi-year commitment to a community. Right now we're wrapping up our project in the Gambia, in Jau. And essentially what we do is all of the background work, technical documentation, design, validation, and any other in-between odd jobs that we feel are necessary in order to deliver a comprehensive solution to our community. So what we're working on right now is an irrigation system, and we are in our implementation phase. So what we've mostly been doing is figuring out how to stay virtual, how to move the project along week by week, and just making sure that, you know, we're staying on top of our stuff on our end more than anything else.
I think that about wraps or like summarizes it pretty well. I don't know if Lily, you have anything to add at all.
No, I don't really have anything to add. Just want to say that our community that we're working with is in Jau, Gambia. We've been there since about 2015. So we are kind of like in the final phases of our project with them, and we're this year we're focusing on closing out our project and on finishing up implementation so that we can hopefully continue to a new project in the next few semesters.
So what I want to add, what our weeks mostly look like is we break up our teams into we break up our group into different subcommittees, each of whom has a lead, and they all focus on some different aspect of the project that we're delivering. So we might have a writing team, a design team, we've had a history and culture group that was making a Wikipedia page for our community to try and just get some more knowledge out into the world about our wonderful partners. We've had a group building agricultural education posters and making an operation and maintenance manual to go along with the system as well. So it's very varied, the type of work that we can get into in international.
Sounds awesome. If you want to, I know we're partnered with an organization over in Jau. If you want to quickly explain what they do and how we got to partner with them.
Yeah, I can take this question. So we're partnered with a non-governmental organization or an NGO called Women's Initiative The Gambia. And Women's Initiative Gambia, or WIG for short, is run by Aissatou Cisse. Aissatou is a Gambian native, and she's from the village of Najau. And her organization focuses on empowering women through economic freedom and educating them on how to fight climate change and how to use recycling efforts to combat waste management. So when we visited their office, they had a bunch of like crafts and like furniture made out of recycled materials. So they had these like chairs made out of like old car tires, and they made keychains out of like bike tires and things like that. And then the women sell those to earn a profit. So it's a really cool way of giving back to the planet kind of, but then also like empowering women to have their own economic freedom, because not a lot of women in Gambia are able to have their own jobs. So it's a pretty cool organization that she runs. And then Women's Initiative Gambia oversees a women's group in Najau, which is just a group of women. And right now they're focusing on upkeeping their community garden.
That sounds awesome. So we've done multiple different implementations over in Azure over the many years. If you guys want to kind of break down the different parts of the project and how the different implementations go together for the overall project.
Yeah, I can take this one. So, well, before implementation, there's an assessment phase where we have to figure out, we go to the community and we ask, what are the challenges that you're facing? Could you talk about, what life is like here? How do you normally do these kinds of processes? What are you looking for in your project? And then try and come up with different alternatives that can reach that goal. At that point, we get into implementation once we've selected something that we think is a good idea. And for this project, what we first wanted to do was build a fence around the garden in order to keep animals and to reduce the risk of theft of any garden produce or system parts. So that came first. Then what we did was the second implementation trip, which was when Lily and I were fortunate enough to go, and we built the preliminary bits of our irrigation system. So we dug a borehole, installed a solar powered pump, put in a 5,000 liter tank, and then connected it to 3 tap heads for distribution. The next implementation trip, which is going to be remote because of COVID, is finishing out that system. So adding a second storage tank, a water tower to hold it, and 6 more distribution taps in order to make it 9 total.
Awesome. So we don't exactly go to the community with a specific project in mind, but it's more like we're partnering with the community in order to produce whatever, or go with whatever vision they have for it. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that at all, or.
Sure. Just briefly, when someone applies to EWB and says, "Hey, we want some engineering expertise," they usually have a good idea of what they're looking for, or what kind. They all the problems are specified under different categories, like structural or sanitation and irrigation.
Okay.
Things like that. So you can go in and there's generally a good idea of okay, they want a school, or they want something for their garden, or they want something in this space. And then what we do is pick some good design alternatives, narrow those down, do some decision matrices. Almost forgot. Yeah. And figure out what the best solution is, and then submit that to our oversight at EWB USA, get approval, and go forward with it.
Awesome. Before we wrap up here, do you guys want to each say what your favorite experience through local is, or a great memory that you have, or not local, international, sorry, but a great memory that you have?
That's tough. Lily, you want to go first? You got one? I have so many.
That's such a hard question. I think my favorite memory from international would probably have to be from when I traveled to Nijao. So Dirge, one of the other travel team members, only brought a single pair of pants for the whole month of travel. And I remember there's this one day that the woman offered to help us do our laundry, and they had this particular way of scrubbing the clothing that got all of the dirt out, and they were so good at it and so fast at it. And these women are just so strong in general, physically and mentally. And for the sake of him, Dirge could not scrub his pants the right way. It was just the funniest thing to watch.
Man, that was hilarious. He also, we bullied him relentlessly for only bringing one pair. He deserved it. Favorite memory. Really tough. I think it's, I don't know. I look back really fondly on this. We did this thing where IC2 asked us to judge some trees that some local middle schoolers, I think, were building as part of a sustainability project. I think just trying to be good stewards of natural resources. So the kids had to grow and take care of trees. And while we were there, they said, "Hey, could you just come and check them out and decide which ones are the best trees, and then like we'll give the kids the prize or something." And I just remember it really fondly because it had absolutely nothing to do with our project, and it took like an entire afternoon where we were just screaming at each other over which tree was better than the other one. Like we took it way too seriously. And we had like, again, we were making like design, not even decision matrices, and like we had a scoring system. And it was so hot that day. Like it was just unbearable. And we were out in the middle of the afternoon. And I probably just totally ruined these kids' lives. I bet they just wanted to get out of class and we were like making them sit around. But I remember it really fondly just because like after that day and even everything that came afterwards, like we had a really good dynamic. And I think one of the things that made all of this work for me is just that I've been so lucky to have such smart and driven people working alongside me, like Lily, and like Maggie, our old president Maggie from before, even Dirge when he has enough pants. So I remember the little stuff in between like that, I think the best.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much for having this interview with us and letting the greater community know a little bit more about International. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say.
Vote in the elections. It's gonna be way too late by the time this airs, but whatever.
It's fine. Thank you so much for having this interview with me. I hope you guys have a great day.
All right, so it's always nice to hear from Dante and Lily. Quite the duo that we have there. Dante, I wanted to say that they should vote in the elections. Maybe not so much anymore. It's already passed now, but thank you anyways.
3 weeks ago, I think the elections were, which went well.
Yes.
So shout out to the new members coming in, being new officers, which is great.
Yeah. But anyways, it's been mentioned a lot in the Zoom recording, so I wanted to resurface it that Andrew is the man who actually brought one pair of pants into the Gambia. So can you kind of like talk about how you came to the decision on bringing one pair of pants?
Yeah. So they mentioned Dirge brought one pair of pants. My last name is Dirge. Some people within the club call me by my last name. So yes, it was me who brought one pair of pants. I will say we were told before we left, you got to pack light. And there's no way of packing light besides bringing one pair of pants. I mean, my suitcase, super light. And it worked. My pants didn't fall apart. Shout out to the woman in the Gambia for helping me clean them, because I don't even think washing machines back home could have salvaged those pants. But just some soaps. I can still wear them to this day. I have really because every single day while I was there, I was in those pants. A single thing about bringing one pair of pants, no matter how many people or make fun of me a little bit, there's no shame in any.
Well, I think you've definitely convinced everyone who's going to go on the next travel only really bring one pair of clothes.
Yes.
Take that with a grain of salt to anyone who is going to be traveling on the next. Use your own discretion with how to pack, but donations. So I wanted to bring that back up. We're $115, so I wanted to thank our donors. Thank you guys so much for all your. This is going straight back to the communities that we work with. We're not pocketing. In fact, I'm down a lot of money just because I keep donating.
But it's the best donations you could ever make.
Yeah, so. It's really fulfilling org to pour all of your money into.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But okay, with that, thank you. Go on into our next segment. This is one of our fun segments. Partner. This is about who you would want. What major lab partner? There's a couple competitions. This is the first episode. Stay tuned for the entire live stream to see all parts of this. You can go ahead and play the first episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Lab Partner. I'm your host, Andrew Dirge, and today we're going to be figuring out what major makes the best lab partner. There's nothing worse than when you're in class, sitting down, and the professor comes in and says, all right, everybody, we're forming groups, and we're going to do a lab. It's terrifying, it's scary, there's so many unknowns. So today, we're hoping to eliminate some of those unknowns by determining which major would be the most ideal lab partner. And I know what you're thinking. A major can be good at one specific type of lab. But we've thought of that. What we've done is we have 3 separate experiments. A chemical engineering experiment, a civil engineering experiment, and a mechanical/aerospace engineering experiment. What I have are 4 fantastic engineers behind me of all different majors. So what we're going to do is they are going to do those 3 different engineering discipline labs, and I am going to be the judge. So if you start over here, this is Cassidy. She is a civil engineer. We have Paige, who is a computer science engineer. Caleb, our mechanical engineer. And then Charlotte, our chemical engineer. So the very first challenge we're going to have is we're going to have 2 minutes to create a volcano. And I'm going to judge their volcano based off how well their chemical reaction goes, as well as the looks of the volcano, the sounds, the smells, everything. So to begin, you have 2 minutes. Start now. Right away, we can see a couple different techniques going on here. Some rolling. Some people, like Caleb, are getting right into it, putting it straight onto the cup. Charlotte's also trying to do something similar, with slightly less success. That's fine. She's got 2 minutes to do this. Paige, totally something different. She's making a big circle, I think. Doesn't look like a volcano to me yet, but I'm sure it will be. And notice they have 2 different colors, which is important for my judging. Have you guys ever seen a volcano that was the exact same color? No. Chemical engineers don't do that. So, I'm looking for different colors, different color combinations. The more volcanic, the better. Oh, okay, we see Paige's plan in action, and I mean, that looks pretty good, being honest. The other contestants may start looking at it, maybe start achieving all fair within these labs. When you're in a lab, when you're doing something, you gotta do it the best you can do, which may be using some fellow people to help out with your design choice. So let's check the time for them really quick. They are running low on time, being honest. 35 seconds left. Charlotte's hands, I think, are shaking a little bit. She's a little nervous. This is the first lab of the day. I see a lot of cup on Caleb's volcano. I've never seen a volcano with a cup, but it's a design choice that mechanical engineers tend to make, I believe. I'm not a mechanical engineer, so I can't speak for them. But Caleb can. He can speak for all of them. All right, you guys got 20 seconds left. Add the last flares, add the last pieces of, I guess, the volcano, we're going to call it. And that would be the time. All right, everybody, well done. So, we've done to the design stage, and now I will judge not only the design, but how well they're mixing their baking soda and vinegar together. So hopefully the viewer can see it from home. If not, I can describe it. But to start, Cassie, would you please mix the 2 chemicals together? Put your vinegar in first. Wow. Action shots. Notice good foam, big bubbles, small bubbles. I want a consistency of both, really. I don't want just all small. I don't want all big. I want to mix of both. All right, so next up, we'll actually skip to Caleb here. Notice his volcano, pretty low, has a cup though, which is cool, and a piece of blue. All right, please, Caleb. Going in at the same time. Maybe a couple too many big bubbles. If we notice, not a huge amount of spillage, which any volcano expert knows you want more. All right. Charlotte, please, let's see what you got here. Okay, she's actually going baking soda first. So we've had 3 different techniques for how we're doing this. And that Seems to be a pretty good technique. I hope the viewers at home can hear the sizzle. It's like Rice Krispie treats. It's beautiful. So, all right, we have our last contestant coming in. Paige, the computer science engineer. So she didn't code this, she actually built this. And notice the beautiful stripes of purple slugs, I believe. And she learned a couple things from Charlotte, if we're being honest, because that was also a very excellent pour. So we're going to back it up really quick. And I'm going to give 1, 2, 3, 4 best volcano. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give 1 point for the best volcano, 2 points for the second best, 3 points for the third best, 4 points for the worst. So the idea is you want to have the least amount of points at the very end of all of our experiments to be considered the best lab partner. So if we're going to be honest, Caleb, I'm sorry. I think we all knew this was coming. I think we did too. He's a Mechie, so this one isn't quite for him. He's got a lot of ground to make up coming up for these next couple experiments. 4 points for Caleb. Second off, it's I'm gonna have to give third place. It did come all the way out there. It wasn't consistent. It exploded too much this way, not enough to the other way. So sorry, Cassie. Third place, but we do have, we have a civil engineering one coming up next. So we got ground makeup. Charlotte actually is our chemie. And that's why she got first place. I know what some people are thinking. Paige looks better. That's true. That's true. But what Charlotte did was she showed the best way of mixing her chemicals. And that's why we did these experiments. It's for chemical engineering. And she obviously chemical engineered the volcano the best. So, sorry, Paige. Excellent design choice. The strategy during the design stage was fantastic. But you will be receiving 2 points. Charlotte with 1 point. All right. So
Yeah, we'll cut and
I'll see you guys after the commercial break for our next design choice, the civil engineering project. Stay tuned to find out more.
Okay, so that was our first segment of the lab partner. I'm excited that Kemi wins now, being as that both of us are now.
Just a reminder for anyone who wasn't here early enough, we are both chemies, so we are pulling really hard for Charlotte to win that.
Yeah, obviously no bias in the judgment. Obviously, it seemed purely unbiased.
We're men of principle, obviously. Engineers Without Borders. A lot of principles within the club, which we support, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So without further ado, we can bring it back to now our donations. We've hit even more donors. So now we're at $1,235, and I wanted to thank Laurel Monick, Elizabeth Popelka, Jared Brown, and Jill Klatt. Thank you, all of you guys, for donating. Again, seriously, it really does a lot to give back to the communities. Like we've been.
But yeah, without further ado, we'll keep this in here. So we heard about international a little bit. So now we're actually going to hear about the second part of our club, where we're going to talk to the local leads a little bit about what they do. Without further ado, I believe we will go ahead and start that interview soon.
Hello, I'm Emery, and I'm here with Noah and Katie, the current local projects leads. And if you want to introduce yourselves at all.
Sure. My name's Noah Sheridan. I'm a junior mechanical engineering major. I've been with EWB this is my 4th semester with EWB, and next semester I'm also the lead. Very excited. Local's doing big things.
Yeah, and I'm Katie. I am a sophomore in environmental engineering. This is also my 4th semester with EWB, and I will also be VP of local next semester or next year with Noah. So pretty exciting.
Nice. So for the audience members who don't quite know what local is, if you want to give like a quick background on what that part of the EWB does.
Yeah, so I always just say that local does humanitarian engineering projects, usually partnering with orgs in Columbus or on campus to kind of just address whatever needs the org needs to be met through whatever kind of engineering we can do.
Yeah, so do you want to just give a couple examples of like past projects we've already completed or like some partners that we've done work with in the past?
Sure, yeah. So the first project I was on was with Flow, which is Friends Along the Olentangy River. And we were working on fixing up some of their bat houses they had and putting a bat house back into a park. After that, we also worked with Goodwill for a brief period of time. We worked with Green Columbus. It's a tree nursery project we're working on right now. We've also worked with some Ohio State orgs, such as BPP. And we also worked with the student farm at Ohio State. We're working on a water recycling kind of gutter system at their high tunnels.
That one has been in the works for a little while now.
We're really hoping to get it done this semester, but we'll see.
That's awesome. What I really like about local is that you can like kind of see the work and like the community around you, which is really nice. So do you want to, do you want to kind of walk us through all the different projects that you guys are currently doing? Because you're on a couple different projects simultaneously right now.
Yeah, so the first one, referencing back to Green Columbus and the student farm, they're actually included in our bigger volunteering committee. And so since we only have to do implementation for both of those projects, our volunteering committee kind of takes care of that, but our volunteering committee also reaches out to local orgs in Columbus, like the Franklin Park Conservatory or Flow, like before, or trying to do a project with Toys for Tots. We have a lot of fun, like one-day volunteering activities that are obviously COVID cool. So that's super important, and I think it's a really good way to keep people engaged when our project work is very like online until implementation day. So I think that's super important. And then we're also doing a project with the CHA Animal Shelter in Westerville, which is like 20 minutes north. And we're building like modular fences for their little like play yard for dogs. So that way dogs can kind of go out and be separated from each other. So that way they don't have to interact, which could cause, one could get really scared or one could get really aggressive or anything like that. So it just allows them to have more space to let the dogs go outside and socialize and all that fun stuff.
That's awesome.
And then, and our last project is actually a very big project that we kind of started on our own. We're very ambitious at local, and we are creating our own bilateral stimulation tapper devices. And so that is just like bilateral stimulation is basically like an alternating vibration that goes on either side of your body. And it mimics REM sleep pretty much. So it helps your emotional brain talk to your logic brain, which only happens during REM sleep, which is pretty interesting. But those tapper devices have been shown to reduce stress and help with positive like memory reprocessing and stuff like that. So I know that like I use it to go to sleep. You can use it to study, all of that kind of stuff, but it's not super accessible unless you are a clinician, like a therapist or a psychologist. So we're trying to make it more accessible for the community. So we're working with CCS at OSU and the Wellbeing Connection, which is located in New Albany, to kind of help distribute those tappers around Columbus.
Yeah, I've seen the bilateral stimulation in as a therapy tool, but what you guys are trying to do is just more give it out to people as like a de-stressor almost, or?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you guys have any ideas for future projects, or do you know where you guys the next steps are this semester?
So what we're thinking right now is that the Buzzies, the bilateral stimulation project, will definitely carry over to next semester. So a big part of next semester is going to be finishing off like the design for that and producing them, and then hopefully distribute them to the different organizations or school systems around Columbus. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of ideas right now off the top of my mind. Katie, did you have anything in mind?
Honestly, no. Usually our project search is more like we just kind of like field it out to orgs in the community and like on campus. And we're like, if you have any projects, let us know. We'd be super interested in working with you. So it's usually the orgs will come up with the projects for us.
Awesome.
Something we've done in the past, sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
is working with like elementary school students also, and like after school all-stars. That's something we haven't been able to do recently because of coronavirus, but hopefully in the future we're able to get back on that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I can see how the bilateral stimulation would take quite a while because you guys are really designing it from the bottom up. You guys have to do the mechanical and the electrical side as well as like the overall product and like the packaging and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I think it's really awesome. The people who are working on it now, it's really cool because we're getting like real hands-on experience in like electrical and mechanical engineering as well as like project management, which is not something you always get like in classes. And it's pretty tedious at times, but it's also super exciting when like one little thing works and now you can finally move on to the next little thing. So
awesome. Do you guys want to give your favorite memory as part of local? I know you guys have both a lot of memories, or at least one project that really stood out to you.
I think my favorite was probably my first project. I went into EWB kind of just looking for an opportunity to have some kind of project experience or volunteer experience. And then when we actually got to our work day, I felt like it was super rewarding to see like our whole semester's work pay off and help out a park. I think that really stuck with me, probably just because it was my first one, but definitely inspired me to go forward and continue doing different projects.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would say my favorite memory is when we did a like cleanup on the side of the highway this last semester. And it was really fun because we weren't able to meet in person for like most of last semester, except for there was like a 6-week window where you could meet in groups of 10 or less with masks, social distancing, and all that. So that cleanup was perfect because it was outside. But it was really nice to get to interact with the people that I've been like talking to on the screen, all of that. And we were having fun, being goofy, just good old local stuff.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having this interview with me. If anyone in the audience has any ideas for future projects, please get in contact with Katie and Noah. They'd be happy to hear your ideas. If you guys have anything else you want to say.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Also come to local projects on Mondays at 7.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, guys. See you around.
So that was really nice hearing from Noah and Katie, obviously two of the current local projects working together for the past 2 years now. Obviously another great and then also just kind of as like a local projects really hasn't been quite as through the past. It's really just been like a handful of people, maybe 3 or 4. And actually, one of our past local projects leads, Jared, will be get to kind of talk with him. So that'll be nice to really review with one of our.
I remember my freshman year, I came into EWB and I heard that there was what it really was just Jared. Jared was like, he was the only person in local, me and him sitting there working on local stuff. So we've really grown in the past couple years. I mean, local is such a huge part of our club now, with at least over 30 members, a ton of great different projects, which you just heard about. So a huge shout out to local. Huge shout out to everyone who's donated so far, because without that, local couldn't get to this level. So we're getting close to actually $1,500 for our goal of this live stream, which is super awesome. Again, every dollar super appreciated. I'm going to give a quick shout out to some recent donating people. We got Signe Weaver, Thomas Maloney, Cheryl Cartwright, and Mary Ann Snyder. Cheryl Cartwright.
Thanks, Mom.
So without further ado, I have a tier list of the different engineering by our money team.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our tier list segment of the live stream. This is brought to you by the Money Team, and we are all busy right now running the live stream and making sure things are going smoothly. So we hope you enjoy, but we're recording this early ahead of time. So we're just going to rank all of the engineering disciplines, and be sure to let us know what you think in the comments. I'm sure we'll have some disagreement, some agreement, some other ideas from the crowd. So let us know in the chat what you're thinking. And Michael, you can get started.
Yeah, so the first one we're going to be looking at is mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering is great, super fun. Maybe not the greatest. I'd put them about a C list. They think they invented the wheel. We can at least give them that.
That's fair.
Agreed. Our next one is aerospace. Need I say more about aerospace? NASA, SpaceX, Mars rover, all kinds of space stuff, airplanes, keeping it simple. All of that stuff rolled up into one. They got helicopters, they got all kinds of stuff. This is unarguably an S tier engineering discipline, aerospace engineering.
Wow.
Marking it up there.
All right. Okay. Well, next up is ISE. And, I got a bone to pick with ISE personally. I looked up a whole page. I read an entire page about what ISE is. I still don't know what it is. So just for the sheer amount of things that ISE does, I'm going to give you C. But let the record show that I don't know what it does. I don't know what it is. And I don't think anyone ever will.
Just
a glorified business major.
I mean, basically, yes.
Next up is civil engineering. I feel like they're a bread and butter engineering discipline, putting them in B. They build bridges and they build roads, but they still can't work with their architects very well. Yeah, they're the only discipline that knows the difference between cement and concrete, so I think they're pretty high up there.
All right. Next up, we got CSE, computer science engineering. Now, I might be a little biased considering I am a computer science engineer, but I would say that especially in our, modern times where technology being so advanced, computers are everything. Computers are very important to everything. Basically, everything we have is built on, computer science engineering. So, I'm not going to give it S, but I'll give it an A because I think I would put it in S myself, but maybe some other people wouldn't agree with me. So,
Ethan, I'm on board. You left out one of my favorite elements of computer science engineering, that's MATLAB. But where would we be in this world without MATLAB?
Maybe a happier place, but I don't.
Yeah, so our next discipline is electrical engineering. Personally, I think electrical is definitely one of the better ones. I'd give it an A. We haven't really seen one of those in class in a long time, but it's a super versatile major, so it's got a lot going for it.
Might be some biasy there, Michael, giving it the A tier.
Nonsense. Never heard of the word in my life.
All right. Next up, following our string of biases here, is chemical engineering. So chemical engineering has to take both of the entry-level physics, both entry-level chemistries, both OCHEMs. You got to even take a biology class. Got to do all the math as well. So got all this strong foundation, and despite all this background, all this training, they can't even independently do anything because all of their work is just at the level of these big chemical plants that are just equally dependent on all the other disciplines to create the systems and build all the piping and write the code for the control systems. So they're really just freeloading on everybody else. And for that reason, we are going to place them. Gotta keep going. Little further down. We are going to put them down here. Z tier for chemical engineering.
To be fair, we can homebrew as chemical engineers, so I think that's the one bonus for our discipline. I think we can move it up 1 or 2 for just that alone.
I'll give you that. We can do it. We can do it Y tier, pitching that to a non-drinker, but I'll give you that. Put that in Y tier.
Wow, that's a long list. Next up is Fabi, and they have amazing tractors, so definite A tier. That's all there is.
So next up, we have material science engineering. So, it's all right. It's all right. It's a cool engineering. Making some plastics and polymers and such. Useful, but not very interesting. You guys got a new building on campus. It's kind of cool looking. So I'm gonna go C tier for material science. I think that's pretty fair.
Is that too generous, Ethan? C tier just for the new building?
Yeah.
That's a nice building.
It's pretty cool.
All right. Next up is environmental engineering. And it's very similar to the previous one I did in chemical engineering. But what makes environmental engineering unique is they're solely focused on water. If you didn't have anything, would you rather have a glass of water or a glass of oil or a glass of plastic or a glass of soap? So environmental engineering is clearly, as we can see, leaps and ahead above of chemical engineering, like everything else on this tier list. But water is such an essential resource, essential to our project in JAO and for all people all around the world. I'm going to move environmental engineering up to A tier. Everyone's got to have their water.
Nice.
Next up is engineering physics. I feel like this barely counts as engineering. Physics is my least favorite part of engineering too, so I don't think I would really like engineering physics that much, so I think it's going to be in the D tier for me.
Agreed.
Nobody likes physics.
Sorry, engineering physics students.
Next up, we got our welding. So, welding's cool. Everyone needs welding. But, I feel like if you're going to school and you study welding, you're paying, your tuition dollars are going to something you maybe could have learned in community college. So I just feel like it's a waste of a major entirely. So I'm going to have to go with a D tier here.
They're kind of making bank, Ethan. You don't have any respect for the bag?
Maybe, but I mean, that's going towards the student debt first. So, I mean, I just feel like kind of a waste of time, if I'm being honest.
So our last one is going to be biomedical engineering. They're pretty cool people. I'm going to move them into B tier. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what they do, but they have a lot of cool opportunities and everything in terms of like either prosthetics or organs or nursing, things like that. I think they're pretty cool.
Sweet. I'm sure as you have already been involved in the chat, but yeah, continue to let us know what you think with our final rankings here. And we also wanted to give a thank you to anyone that was able to make a donation today, and also encourage people to donate if you haven't. This has been a lot of work to organize all of this, and this is kind of like our big fundraising event for the year. So we'd be happy for any contributions people are able to make, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the live stream. Thank you.
Money team for giving such an unbiased, data-driven analysis of the best engineering. Obviously, Ryan and I are both chemies. What just happened? How do you feel, Ryan? I mean,
I feel a little bit betrayed too, because Matt is and now chanting at me now. I don't know. I feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like there's an imposter.
I certainly don't feel like I'm an XT person. So
why?
Yeah. So for my test, just a shout out to fellow chemies out there. Thank you guys. But
I can talk through our donations because they just keep. Thank you to our donors. We're up to 16 now. So that includes Jeff Parsons, Bob Wise, and then also just to mention how to donate in case anyone. There should be a link that is pinned to the chat. So donation page. It's a really big button. You can't miss the donate.
Yep. But now that you guys know how to donate, we'll go on to our next segment. Jared, who was the old local lead, came back and let us interview a little bit about one of our former members, Jared.
So, hey everyone, we're here with Jared Brown, one of our famous alumni. Just graduated very recently and has moved on to bigger and better things. So, Jared, if you don't mind, could you maybe give kind of like a background to what you did with EWB when you were in college and kind of the experiences that you had?
Yeah, sure, totally. So I was involved with EWB all 4 years, well, all 4.5, I guess, technically, that I was at OSU. And I started as a freshman, and actually right when we got our current project, which was really cool and exciting, and got to travel for our first assessment trip. And then throughout the rest of the 4 years, I was heavily involved with local projects. I ran that for 2 years, and then was also really involved on the international side as well, and then got to travel December of 2019 on that implementation trip. It was really rewarding experience, and I really enjoyed the time at EWB and really learned a lot. I really valued that experience, and I've used that a lot at my job too. So.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about the stuff you learned at EWB and how it's translated to adult you and working you?
Yeah, sure, totally. So I work in the hydropower industry for a consulting firm called Klein Schmidt Associates, and that industry has been around for like 100 years, and so a lot of the drawings and information that we get is that old. In terms of the EWB work and how that translates, one being very investigative and understanding that you will never have enough information. That is like, while it's really frustrating, it was really frustrating in EWB, and it really prepared me for the real world where you don't really have a lot of it. You have like an 100-year-old drawing and maybe some details on the site and stuff, and you just kind of have to figure it out and ask a lot of questions and do what you can. And that was kind of a lot of what I learned in EWB, just like trying to figure it out, just like being like, okay, this is what we have and it's not enough, but we need to get this done, right? And we got to figure out a way to find that information or assume or ask people, right? So that has been one of the major tools that I've been using, just kind of that flexibility and just forcing it to work, right? So.
Yeah, that's really cool that you talk about your experience too and like how that actually translates. So do you actually have any recommendations or like words of wisdom for some of the freshmen that are maybe like coming into the position where you were like almost 6 years ago now?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the main things that I tried to do when I was in EWB is just try to be as helpful as possible. And that's how I got to be as involved as I was. I was just trying to be as helpful, help out the older members that had more experience and just kind of be under their wing and learn from them. And kind of just as I gained more experience in the club, that's kind of what I tried to focus on, was just where I can be most helpful. Am I, is there someone else that can fill this role better right now and I can go help elsewhere, or am I the right person? And that also in my job as an entry-level engineer, I really just try to be as helpful as I can, given my limited experience, and they understand that. And but that's definitely one of my key advice points, I guess. Just really strive to be helpful, and you will be given more responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good lesson. It's a good lesson. I'm sure the new members and myself appreciate any insight you got now that you're out in the real world. Ryan, do we have any other questions for our friend Jared here before we let him go?
I would just say one more thing. if you want to kind of describe what you've been doing since graduation, just to like kind of give information to all the other alumni that might be watching this.
Yeah, sure. So like I said, I'm a mechanical engineer in the hydropower industry now. I got this opportunity out in Portland, Oregon, so I moved out there. Yeah, I've been really just striving to learn as much as I can about the hydropower industry and the company itself. It's a kind of tough job market, unfortunately, right now with COVID. But I think you guys are really well suited technology-wise to fit into companies virtually, as you can. But what was the rest of that question, Ryan? I kind of lost.
Oh, just kind of like life updates, kind of for like other alumni that like you were in exec with, and kind of like just giving them a nice update.
Sure. Yeah. So, I'm out here in Portland, and it's not as crazy as the media makes it out to be whatsoever. But I actually got this job, I think, because of some of my EWB experience. One of the people that I work with, my mentor, he was also very involved in kind of international development work and engineering. And so I think it is really helpful from a personal development standpoint and professional development, but also, you can find these random connections, and it does form a pretty strong understanding of, okay, this person has EWB experience, and I know what that means, right? So that can be helpful, and I'll always be trying to help out other EWB members where I can. So, but yeah, that's me. That's where I'm at.
I'm sure all the freshmen now who are like joining EWB also appreciate it, and sometimes kind of forget myself just about like all the connections you can make in EWB. So
definitely.
Yeah. I think with that, I just want to say thank you again, Jared, for coming and actually getting to talk to us person to person, at least virtually.
Yeah,
it's been nice catching up, and it's been a couple of years. So thanks again for coming up.
Yeah, glad to. Yeah, and good luck with the virtual implementation here coming up, and the rest of the project. Always keen to get updates on how the community is doing and the garden in general. So always good to hear from you guys.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, so with that, we can give it back now to Andrew and Ryan, who will be leading the rest of the live stream.
Thank you for the introduction, Ryan. Now back with Ryan and Andrew. It's always nice to kind of hear from our alumni. Obviously, we get really close with people while we're in college together, so it's nice to just chance to touch base with them after they graduate. And actually, a fun fact about Jared, I don't know if he remembers this, but in high school at one point, we played soccer against each other for our high school teams back in Chicago, and then we ended up meeting each other in EWB in Columbus. So I thought that was a nice little interesting trick that the two of us had to get together.
It was meant to be.
Yeah,
Jared, obviously.
Yeah, it really was.
I think Jared might be watching right now, hopefully. So if you are, Jared, hello, and thank you again for doing that interview. I'm sure everyone really did appreciate it. So thank you, Jared, again for that. We'll talk a little bit more about the donations. We'll keep you guys all updated on that. We are actually doing really well. We're at $19.40 for our total donations so far. Wow. So seriously, thank you so much, everybody who's donated, who's thinking about donating, who's watching this live stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'll give a couple more names for people who donated. Polka, Dean Borsos, and Kelly Vatki. Sorry again for all the names. Last name's really tough, but it doesn't mean I appreciate anything any less. So thank you so much. But we're a new project, and right after that, we're going to have a song performed. Yeah. And it's going to be the best song, I think.
Probably going to be in the top 100 2021 as soon as this drops.
Yeah. So check your Spotify's after this. I think it'll easily be the best Engineers Without Borders song. Please stick with us because it's going to be great. But before that, we're going to talk about our new project, just as exciting in a very different way. So without further ado, let's interview.
Hello, I'm Emery. I'm here with Justin and Bob, and we're discussing the new international project coming up. So I want to preface this by just kind of asking how do we start about getting a new project for international, as it's once every 5 years or so experience that we go through?
So I can take the first one. So first off is in each office for like in-country offices around the world, communities will submit requests, and then those will be processed through the EWB offices through EWB USA. They'll post those to their dashboard that any EWB chapter can apply for, and so you just submit an application, and then they'll get your answer back. I think they said they do it every 2 weeks, and then that's when you can kind of start opening that line of communication and figuring out more of the details with the community.
Cool.
Yeah, and the dashboard. I was just gonna add, like Bob said, the dashboard full of potential projects is just kind of rolling, because chapters across the country, whether they're student chapters or professional chapters, are all on different time frames. So it's just kind of rolling. When a chapter is looking for a new project, they look at the list and apply. And if timing works out where they're the ones that get accepted to it, then they take on the project. And also, like you said, Emery, this is really only the third time I think our club has gone through this, because we went through it once with our initial project in the Dominican Republic, which after our assessment trip was terminated, actually, due to the scope being too big. And then the second time we did this was the Gambia project that we're still finishing up. So this is kind of exciting because we're still really relatively a new chapter.
Yeah, it's exciting news that we're getting onto a new project. Do you guys have any ideas what are some current options for what the projects are going to be at all as of now?
So it looks like kind of our biggest interests that we've gauged from the club is a project in Ecuador and a project in Rwanda. I believe that one is structural and one is water. And then we're also gauging a little bit of interest into some new projects in Guatemala. And so they would just be either, I think some of them were building some schools or some classrooms, and then the other would be supplying drinking water to the community.
Cool. Are they all around the same time frame as the current Gambia project that we are in? So around 5 to 6 years or so?
Yeah, I think typically that's the model that most projects do, is sort of an assessment trip, kind of 6 months into establishing a new project, followed by an implementation trip probably a year later. And I think then in that frame, that range, that's where projects can vary on how many implementation trips there are based on the scope of the building. So we would have gone on 3 total if it weren't for COVID for the Gambia, which I think makes it a little longer than usual. But then followed by those implementation trips is the monitoring and evaluation trip. So I think, 4 to 6 years is probably typical of most projects.
Cool. Do you guys have anything else that you want to say at this time around the new project?
I just want to add, it's really exciting for the younger kids, I think, to be a part of starting something new. I'm a 4th year, but I wasn't there when we established this first project. So even when I came in as a freshman, it was all kind of catch up on what's going on. But it's kind of cool to be able to start a new project and see through the establishment of it. And I think there's things to learn from this past project that we should consider when we're trying to pick the next project, just to make it a more feasible thing to do for a club.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I guess kind of my perspective coming into this as a freshman, I kind of got a semester of fully just kind of in the Nijao project, and then really that this project is it's really cool to me because this is probably going to be the rest of my college career, or really it's definitely going to be the rest of my college career. And so just kind of being able to be the group of people that actually decides that and goes through the process of opening up the project is really cool to me.
Yeah, it's exciting to see like all the new committees that'll come out of this and all the new ways that we can like explore engineering through this project, which will be cool. Thank you guys so much for doing this interview about it. For the audience members, please watch out for new updates on the project coming out in the next couple weeks to months. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say.
I don't think so. Thank you, Emery, for taking the time to interview us.
Yeah, thank you, Emery.
An honor to be on here.
Awesome. See you guys.
You're gonna laugh at them.
And thank you, Ryan, for getting these balls for me.
Well, that was Justin and Bob, two of the people who are really working through the process for our new project that we'll be taking on. Obviously, this is a new thing for a lot of us. We've kind of just been around for the whole time that we've had this current project. So it's nice that we have Justin, who is graduating, and Bob, who is a freshman. So it's great to hear from both of them.
Yeah, it's going to be wild to try to close out one project at the same time as pretty much starting from scratch in a brand new location with brand new contractors with a brand new contract or a brand new project. So exciting stuff happening in the club coming up here.
Yeah, it's really great time to be both leaving and coming into UWB. I'd like to take a moment to kind of thank our donors again. We have Kiara Di Loretto, Katie Vacchi, and Philemon Leon Henstreet. Again, I apologize if we are butchering anyone's names. We're trying our best here. So we've kind of been waiting. This is the moment that everyone that has been tuned in for. Now we're going to hand it over to our grant writing team, and they're going to do a little bit of a music video for us. So without further ado, I'll pass it along to them.
WB, baby. Digital money.
Mr. Worldwide, engineers with no borders, international, no project out of order, laying brick and mortar, engaging with new culture. Community designed is the best way forward. Yes, Columbus to Najah, we stay communicating, checking on the garden, make sure it's irrigating, flexing committee names and solutions they're creating. We're the favorite in the club. It's time to start donating.
Lego. It's DM, spitting every syllable. We make this club so irresistible. Funding projects that are just unequivocal. Yes, we are. Money, digital.
You know you want to be an EWB. Guaranteed that engineering degree. You know you want to be an EWB. Hanging out with my boy Matty P. You know you want to be an EWB. You think it every time you see me. You know you want to be an EWB. Having fun, helping those in need.
Hey, what's up? Now it's time for the local in the chat. Yeah, our memes stay vocal. In Columbus, we're humanitarian moguls. COVID may have paused us, never stop, stay hopeful. Hit us up if you want to lend a hand. Partnering with orgs, our project's prepped and planned. And this year, we worked on new ways to expand. You know that you love local, come support our brand.
What's up? Digital Money Original. Our grants feed this club like they're nutritional. Slide in DMs or make your problems fixable. It's almost too good, you might think we are mythical.
Right. You know you wanna be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
Hey. FMS, we're behind the scenes. Fundraising, financing your dreams. Marketing, they show us up by any means. And social keeps us connected behind our screens. Our blood, sweat, and tears is the reason you're here. You can thank us later for success in your careers.
You're welcome.
EW bangers help us persevere. Put your money where your mouth is. Keep the stream in gear.
You know you wanna be in EWB, guaranteed. That engineering degree. Hey. You know you wanna be in EWB, hanging out with my boy Matty P. Yes, you know you wanna be in EWB. You think about it every time you see me. You know you wanna be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
You know you wanna be in EWB. Guaranteed that engineering degree. You know you wanna be
Digital money. Digital money.
Oh my gosh.
goodness. That's the first time Ryan and I had ever even seen that. That was.
I'm in awe right now. I honestly can't wait for that to actually come out on Spotify. I want to be listening to that pretty regularly.
Oh my goodness.
Everything about it, the production, the lyrics, there's nothing off-brand about that.
If that doesn't want to be to this club, I'm not sure what we could present to anybody on the stream right now that could convince you. They told that was the entire history of our club. That was our principles, our morals. I mean,
yeah, this is something that takes Andrew and I maybe 20, 30 minutes to give an entire presentation on. Yeah. And they just made it into a great song and just produced it for all of us.
I was laughing, I was crying. I mean, there were so many moments in that I mean, I was just looking back myself and wow. To the money team for doing that. That was fantastic production quality, everything, anything I create.
Yeah.
It's something like that. But I guess we have to move on. Hopefully we can watch that again. I want to personally watch that again. So I feel for a way to listen and watch that again. But I guess back to business a little bit here. Ryan, you can go ahead and talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. So next is the lab partner, but before we get into the next segment, tap in earlier in case you're joining us now. With the lab partner, it's kind of we have 4 different disciplines that we'll be testing partner, because in college it's a really big choice that you have to make. Together, you're making sure that you're all following the right rules, getting those carbon copies, you sign everything, every single page. So it's an important process. So do you want to kind of?
So we have the 4 engineering disciplines now. Unfortunately, civil is in last place. Mechanical engineering is in last place. Civil's in 3rd. Computer science and we have chemies, which is great to see. We'll continue to see how this plays out, but without further ado, let's get back in on the second episode. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Lab Partner. We are on our second experiment now, which will be a civil engineering experiment. So hopefully Cassidy over here, our civil engineering expert, can excel. So what we will be doing is creating a sandcastle out of kinetic sand. What I will be looking for is not only the looks, because let's be honest, that's more of an architecture thing. I'm looking for structural stability, soundness of design, all sorts of stuff like that. So we're going to give our contestants 5 minutes come up with the best sandcastle they can possibly think of. So we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. And notice we have 2 different choices for kneeling versus kind of a crouching here. Let's stay focused on that and see what results comes from this sort of strategy. That's the first thing I noticed right away. Second thing you may notice is that Cassidy is using her cup to create her structures. Charlotte's following close behind her. Caleb's going with a different design, just making a square, I think. Looks like a castle to me, I guess, Caleb. That's good. Looks like Charlotte's doing the old-fashioned beach method. You take a bucket, fill it with sand, flip it over. Look at that. Look at that. That looks like a castle to me, folks. It may be difficult to see on the screen from over there, but don't worry. When 5 minutes are up, we'll get a close-up of what they're doing here. You can see their beauty in action. Just a reminder to everyone with the point system. So Caleb in that black Ohio State shirt, he's our mechanical engineer. Currently with 4 points. Had a tough go of it with the chemical stuff. Next, in 3rd place, would be our civil engineer, Cassidy over here. She's working hard. She's hoping to make up ground in this experiment. This is kind of her expertise. 2nd place, we have Paige, the computer science engineer. So notice that we actually don't have a computer science lab because those would be really boring for you to watch. I don't think any one of our viewers really want to watch coding for 5 minutes. but if you do, feel free to reach out to us after all of this. Maybe our second iteration of the live stream, we can have some coding. It is 2021 after all. Now, coding is kind of a cool thing to do nowadays. And then a reminder, first place is Charlotte's. She's looking strong now. She's already got a strong base, it looks like. She's still filling her cup. All good. All good. Let's give our contestants a reminder of how much time they have left. We are closing in on the halfway point. You guys got 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Continue to create your best design possible. Important to know for the contestants, height is a factor. Design choice, structure design, I guess how strong it is. I will be testing for that. You will not know how I will test for your structural integrity, but I will be testing for it. So be prepared for anything. Hurricanes, tsunamis, anything in between. Anything can happen to your design. I hope you do your best to make sure its structure is as strong as possible. So we're seeing these designs start to come together here. Viewers at home, maybe right now, choose your fighter, if you will. Think of someone you want to root for this round. Hopefully I can crush your dreams when I give them a bad grade on their judging section. Looks like Cassie's gone over to the kneeling technique. Paige has stayed strong on squatting. We'll see how that turns out for her. Looks like the structures have started to solidify here. I think they're starting to make their final design choices in terms of looks. Just a reminder, 1 minute and 25 seconds left. Running a little low on time here, contestants. Remember, you want to represent your major as best as you can. You just look at the concentration on the faces of each and every contestant. Totally unfazed by my constant talking. They're just plugging away, doing the best they can. Caleb coming in with a different color. Interesting. Add the whole new feng shui to the design, I believe. Which is feng shui good or bad? I don't know. We'll find out later. All right, contestants, you have about 30 seconds left. 30 seconds. Don't rush, but actually rush. You guys probably start with rushing. Start jamming it together. What you don't have, you just use it. Just a reminder, this is not Play-Doh. This is kinetic sand, which actually is terrible to build things out of. No one ever said, let's build a house in this sand. Because sand actually isn't super structurally sound. Do we have cement or aggregate here? All right, that is time. Please put down your sand castles. If we're being honest, this is sort of a surprise. We can kind of see right away Cassie's
Mine's the tallest.
Is actually not even the tallest. I can't see that Paige is taller. So, but let's get a close-up look of all these while I judge them.
My turkey did not go up, and then it's
This is our civil engineer, believe it or not.
I'm on a drawbridge.
There's a drawbridge with no other side to the drawbridge. If anyone's using the drawbridge, they're gonna have a bad day, I think.
No, it's suspension wires, so that it'll be fine.
Well, the viewers at home can tell me I don't see any suspension wires on this design.
Suspension wires.
It's not very suspended. We'll move on. Let's check over with Paige's. Paige's is actually being very nice and holding my camera. Paige, could you explain just what happened to your design here?
My spire fell off.
So that's kind of tough for the structural integrity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thing and throw it at it. Okay, it did really well with that. And it's honestly probably the most intricate design thing I see. And let's go back here and test her structural integrity. Wow, she nailed it. Good strong base. But you might lose some points for that falling off Paige, but so far so good for you. Let's move over to Caleb here, our mechanical engineer. Just a reminder, he's in last place. And if you notice, we got some color. Different color here with different levels of sizes, and again, another really strong contender for best sandcastle here.
I don't know what to say. We're testing integrity. I mean, it took it like a champ. Let's move on here.
Go.
So this is an interesting design, way wider than our other ones. Kind of looks like it's sinking a little bit, but Charlotte, being the smart person she is, looks like she put a little ball down there to support the entire structure. So, people, this is going to be really, really tough for me to decide which one of these is our best design yet. Let's look at our contestants. Let's back up the camera really quick so you can see all their reactions and hear the results. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. So we actually, in fairness to Cassidy, traffic engineering, she doesn't have to build sandcastles and that, I do not believe. But with that being said, 4 points for Cassidy. And okay, actually we have a developing story here. Ma'am, please do not adjust in the middle of this. So 3 points for Paige over here. Her whole design was falling apart, and she cheated as well. So lucky she's still in the competition. So that comes here, and I'm gonna be honest, Caleb got really tall towers. They're differentiated. They're not mushed together. Caleb gets the 1 point here. Big comeback. Remember, Caleb got last place in our last experiment. So congratulations to Caleb. So 2 experiments down. The standings are really close. After the commercial break, I will update you on the standings, and I'm going to explain to you our final experiment, which will be a mechanical/aerospace design. So please stay tuned, and thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks for coming back and being the second segment with us again. We have Andrew again, which is convenient that he judged and is now here again with us, so I get to kind of pick his brain about why he was making certain decisions. So can you kind of talk us through if Cassidy had judged that as, I think that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, she was telling me the whole time that it's a suspension bridge. You may have noted that I said there's no other side of the suspension bridge, which is true. I'm not really sure what the point of a bridge if it doesn't go anywhere. So unfortunately, that is why Cassidy did get last place. But I will note she is more interested in everybody. Your future buildings are going to be fine in suspension bridges. Another thing you made, kind of the audio cutout, Paige, who was a computer science engineer, cheated during it, actually. So she got 3rd place because of that. She was kind of putting her thing back together while I was judging it. So it was between Caleb and Charlotte for the final one, because Paige's was very, unfortunately, I had to, lay down the hammer. I mean, I was the executioner, the jury, I was everything in part of that. So kind of like it is doing right here at this live stream, which is really great for me. But yeah,
it's kind of nice that you didn't just disqualify her entirely.
I'm forgiving.
It's very nice of you. It's very kind. I'll also point out that Charlotte is still in our 1st place position. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So she's really representing chemical engineering strong. We're really rooting for you again, unbiasedly, because we have the judge here.
Right. But when we part of the tier list, I think since then I've really wanted to get the chemical engineering name respected a little bit more.
I think you could say we kind of took it personal.
Yeah, because it's exactly what just happened. So for the rest of this time, we're going to really be rooting on chemis. Sorry to any non-chemis. I'm actually not sorry. So sorry, I'm not sorry. So thank you, Ryan, for reminding me of that.
Of course. I always like to bring up old pain that we have.
Thank you. Yeah.
Healed from.
Helps us drive ourselves, which is good.
But to transition kind of back to our live stream again, after we've actually hit a really big milestone for us now with the fundraising. So now we're up to 2,020. Excuse me, 2,020, which is really great. Everyone that donated, I'll mention your names really quickly, but also I'd like to reiterate that again we're shooting for $3,000 today. We still have plenty of segments to get through, but I'd like to kind of put the pressure on, because we're coming up to that deadline pretty soon. But
and a reminder, everything that is donated today is going to be used by our club. We have a new international project coming up. We have all these local things we're doing. Every cent we receive is going straight back into the community, whether that's locally or internationally. So I really think this is the best donation in terms of power of the dollar that you're donating. So
unbiasedly, of course.
Yes, two unbiased people here within EWB. So thank you, seriously, to everyone that's donated. It is incredibly appreciated. It's what we need to do what we do. Without the donations, we can't do anything. We can't do anything.
Exactly. And to kind of be specific too, the recent donors would be Charlie Donnelly, Fez Joffrey, and Isabel Kohler. So again, thank you guys, and we'll kind of just proceed with asking for donation, because obviously we're a lot of college students. We're basically indebted to EWB at this point. So everything that you do gives back to the community that Dirk just mentioned. So without further ado, we can kind of transition on to our next segment, which would be our new project application, which we've kind of talked about with Bob and Justin, but now we'll kind of get a chance locations that we'll be looking for, and they'll give us a little bit of background on the communities that we would be working with. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to the RIDE committee.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying the fundraiser so far. My name is Bob Wise. I am the committee lead of the new project search. And so our club is right now is in the interesting transition between projects. So our goal is to apply and start our new project. So Roma and Justin, you guys take it away.
Hey, yeah, my name's Justin. I'm a part of the RIDE committee this semester. Our first new project that we're applying to is in Pichincha, Ecuador, and it's a structural project, which is different from our past projects, which have been water projects. It is located in the community of Carrera in the Ecuadorian highlands, which is a part of the Andes mountain chain. The request for the project is the construction of 2 classrooms at a local school, because currently they do not have enough space, causing students of the same school years to share classrooms.
And we will be working with the Fundación Redes Solidarias, which is based in Quito, Ecuador, and their job is to connect international volunteers with local projects in Ecuador.
Our second project is another structures project, much like the project in Pichincha. This one is now in the Manabí province of Ecuador, which is closer to the coast. We will again be partnering with Fundación Redes Solidarias in Ecuador in order to construct schools for their school district.
So currently their school building is an unenclosed enclosure, which poses a safety hazard for the community and for the children there.
Hello, I'm Elena. I'm a new member, and the third project is just in Nyai, Rwanda, where there's going to be a water supply project to help the Twa people, and Alex is going to help me answer the 3 major questions of this project. So if you would click on, the first question is, what is the history of the Twa people and why do they need help?
So the Twa people are an ethnic indigenous group in the Great Lakes region of Rwanda, and they have been removed from their land and they don't have any government representation. As of 2009, they struggle with unemployment, lack of the ability to go to school, and illiteracy.
Thank you. What is the project?
The project is a water supply project to empower these people through farming, pottery making, and other tasks that require access to water. So on the right, you can see a picture of some of the members of the Twa community and the Great Lake in the Great Lakes region.
Great. And finally, who are we working with?
That's a great question, Elena. We're working with Hand in Hand for Development, which is an organization that empowers women, youth, and refugees.
Hello, I'm Robert Sunderheft. I am a first year in the RIDE committee. And the last project we have is from Solola, Guatemala. And this is going to be a water supply project. So the problem that the residents of Solola are having is it's extremely difficult to get fresh water. And some people have to walk 2 hours a day. And the only other alternative is to pay people to transport the water, and that is also very expensive. What problems have this? This has also caused problems in the school, as water is not able to be given to the children in the school, and it's also not in any homes. So I'm going to pass it on to Ryan to talk more about this.
Thank you, Robert. I'm Ryan. I'm also a member of the RIDE committee, and this is my 4th year. Now, the community that Robert talked about has a great hope because recently they've been able to buy a spring on the land where they plan to have tank construction. But along with this construction, there hasn't been meeting the actual community's needs. So there's been a new land that's been bought for the community where the actual project scope will take place and the actual construction of the new water project will occur. So with that, I'll pass it back to Bob now to wrap us up.
Thank you, Ryan. So those are the projects that we'll be applying to. And once we get that passed through, we can start reaching out to our community and get our next project off the ground. We'll send it back to the main room of the live stream.
All right. Well, thanks, Bob, and all of the RIDE committee for giving us that little intro on all the projects that we'll be applying to. I think something that's really exciting about RIDE is most of the people are really young in RIDE, which is exciting because they'll be the people who will see basically the whole life of this project that's coming up. But yeah, so I think with that we can kind of move on to our donations. Again, I kind of want to reiterate the way that you can donate is a pinned comment that is in the chat right now. And with that, it'll take you to a link to our page. You can't miss it. It's like on the top left side in case you can't.
Right. So please, again, thank you for the donations. We're getting close to that 3,000 goal. Hopefully we'll hit it by the end. We're going to keep trying to help, trying to convince you guys to donate to us. Hopefully the live stream is doing that a little bit. Anonymous donated. Thank you for donating, even though we can't say your name. Zach Van Fossen and Cheryl Borsos. So thank you, everybody, for donating. The next segment was supposed to be a cooking video of us making domina. Unfortunately, there's some technical difficulties with that. I'll talk about domina really quickly for a little bit. It's a national dish of the Gambia where our current project is in. When I traveled there, we probably had it 3 or 4 times. What it is like a peanut stew. So it's tomatoes and peanuts are the main base of it. And it's fantastic. It is a delicious dish. Please stay up to date on this Facebook page or other avenues you get information from us. We're hoping to get that video up somewhere so you can watch it later. It's a step-by-step process of exactly how to make it. Super easy. It's a stew, so it's just one pot. You're putting everything in there, and you let it cook for an hour, and then you're ready to eat. A really, really fantastic dish. So I highly recommend that. Dante and I were the ones who actually made the video, and we got to eat it at the end, and it was very similar to how I remember it. It was really, really good. So stay updated for that. But
like Andrew said, hopefully that'll be coming out like on our YouTube or Facebook. Personally, I'll be interested in watching it just because I'd like to even make the dish myself and get a little chance, even if I haven't traveled. And speaking of traveling, our current project, one of our legendary alumni who we got on the phone with is Richie, and the next segment is going to be kind of us talking through his time at EWB and then talking what he's up to now and any sort of advice that he might have. So with that, I'll kind of hand it off to Richie.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. We have Richie, who is another one of our legendary alumni, so I just want to give him a chance to kind of introduce himself.
Hi guys, my name is Richie. I was part of EWB up until I graduated in 2019, and currently I am working with GE Healthcare as an Edison engineer out here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Thanks, Richie. So do you mind kind of talking about like your role in EWB when you were in college and kind of like the things that you did and the experiences you had?
Yeah. So my official title and position was the international project lead at the time. And when I was the international project lead, there was only one lead. There was that would oversee the entire group. And I also didn't want to become the international project lead at the start, and it kind of just like fell into my lap, and it just had things happen. I eventually accepted the position, and kind of the rest is history from that point on. And I traveled to Nijao and came back. And so with the period that I also became international project lead, there was a huge rewriting of responsibilities and redefinitions of what each role meant and what each role was responsible for. And at the time, I was responsible for international communication, and so being the mouthpiece to the Gambia community, also the mouthpiece for any kind of contractor or professional work that we needed to do for engineering projects, also leading the international projects, all of them. And I think at the time we were running about five projects. We had the irrigation system and then a bunch of educational materials to kind of supplement the garden that they were trying to build as well. And also learning how to navigate the Engineers Without Borders USA kind of design rigor and documentation, final review of everything that came through. So kind of touched every single part that was related to international projects. Local projects was at the time led by Jared, and then more of the official formal communication with EWB USA was left to the president of the organization, who was Melanie.
Nice. So you were obviously super involved back in the day. So what would you say, what lessons / what motivations did you get in college from EWB that you feel like you really are using now in the future, in your professional life, in your personal life? Talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, taking that position, you really kind of go through the ringer, and it really teaches you how to prioritize properly, really good communication. And also when you take up leadership roles like that, it kind of sticks with you, learning what you want to your leadership style to be, what you have seen to be effective. But also on the other side, you can understand like what you want from a leader specifically, and also what makes a good leader. It also makes you a little bit more empathetic for management in a sense, because you can understand. I think management gets a lot of shit, and for like rightfully so a lot of the times, but other points it's like things are slow because they just kind of have to, and it looks like they're not doing anything because they're kind of setting up all the pieces. And it's really, in my personal opinion, that if you're a really good manager or a really good leader, it looks like you're doing nothing, because you're just setting everything up. You're setting everyone up for success, and you're kind of getting out of their way and taking down walls that would kind of show up. And really, there was just so much to take away from it. Understanding the international community. I'm doing more international work now. And prioritization, really having the ability to practice your engineering in a practical sense, and then taking that forward under working in very like low quality environments in a sense, when a lot of companies have a ton of money and you can get away with like a lot of quote unquote bad engineering because you can just overpower it with like your amount of resources you have. But learning how to design in a very smart and practical way was a lot of things that I also learned from Engineers Without Borders.
Yeah, that's really great. I think those are things that Andrew and I are still learning, even though we're still really late in the process now. So I think, could you kind of like put yourself in the position that you were in 6 years ago when you were a freshman, you were joining EWB. do you think that you have any like words of wisdom right now that you can share with anyone that's in those shoes now that you were in some 6 years ago now?
Literally just show up. I think that will carry you through more than it won't. Because if just sitting there listening and trying to take part, you'll just learn. It may feel very intimidating, especially to some of your seniors who've been there for, these dinosaurs have been there for years and learning about it and having a hand in it. But they were also freshmen at some point as well, who'd never seen the club and who had never experienced anything and just showed up and had like a little bit of enthusiasm, kind of, and then asked questions like, "Yo, what's that? Can I help out there?" And kind of just really built connections and learned, and are now your presidents, vice presidents, leads, just all of the above. Also, fun fact, I didn't join my freshman year. I joined my junior year. It's also another big takeaway is that you can find things later in life as well.
Nice. Awesome. Great tips. Listen to Richie. Everybody watching the live stream now, this guy knows what he's talking about. I think we're running a little low on time. We're going to give you one chance to say something to our viewers. You could say hello to people or talk about donations or any last words you want to say about EWB or anything along those lines.
First off, donate if you have the means to. But also, I'm really proud of the group that you guys have become and the work that you guys are doing, and I'm excited to keep an eye on what's next.
Thanks, Richie. That honestly means a lot just hearing from you too, because a lot of what you've done has shaped a lot of what the work is now. So one last chance just to say thank you, Richie. If you have anything else to say, I guess we could probably just move on because you just did kind of close out. So we'll give it back now to Andrew and Ryan, who'll be leading the lesson of the live stream. Thanks, Richie.
Awesome. Thanks, Richie.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Richie.
Thanks, guys.
Oh man, it's always nice watching yourself on a Zoom recording just butcher an outro. And you don't want to record it again after getting through all of that. But anyways, we got the chance to talk to Richie again. It was really great. He was leaving during our sophomore years, so it was really nice to kind of just like get in touch with him again and hear him just being genuine with us again about how he's felt after leaving.
Right. When talking to like any alumni, you get to hear like the impact that this club did make on them and continues to make on them. I know a lot of people like stay within the service industry. I remember Richie was talking about he works with like a biomedical device company to help replace different parts of broken devices in third world countries, which is awesome that he continues to do that. He says it still motivates him. It was really encouraging going forward for us. For anyone new joining the club, anyone donating to the club, your donations are not only helping the community, you're helping make better people in the club.
And something that you mentioned too, with Richie kind of just being in a professional field now, people don't really know about a lot of professional chapters. Columbus, as an example, we reach out to them pretty frequently. I'm on a Zoom call with them at least once a week, just kind of sharing. I'm kind of hearing from people who are professionally licensed engineers who still like to give back and still getting into an actual industry.
Right, yeah, it's not just a student club. I mean, we're part of a broader organization with quite a few. I mean, there's over 50 professional chapters, I believe, right? Yeah. Big organization, which is really nice to be from those people as well as anything we've done here since then.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, we can kind of transition to our donations again. Just moving forward with my butchering before, I'll do it again. So donations now, we're at $2,122. So again, thank you guys. I really do genuinely mean it. And specifically, that would be Carolyn Claudel, Henderson Silyamon, Ravi Kumar. Again, I'm so sorry for trying my best out here.
We really appreciate it. I really appreciate any donation. Thank you so much.
Right.
But I to the next segment, play the song one more time, just in case there's someone out there. I think everyone would like to hear this.
Yeah.
Let me hear the song one more time because I only had heard it once before.
Right.
It was.
We're gonna hijack.
We can do that,
this.
right, Matt? We can do that. Okay. All right. We got a thumbs up.
Here it is again.
WB, baby. Digital money.
Mr. Worldwide, engineers with no borders, international, no project out of order, laying brick and mortar, engaging with new culture. Community designed is the best way forward. Columbus to Najah, we stay communicating, checking on the garden, make sure it's irrigating, flexing committee names and solutions they're creating. We're the favorite in the club. It's time to start donating.
Lego.
It's DM, spitting every syllable. We make this club so irresistible. Funding projects that are just unequivocal. Yes, we are. Money, digital.
You know you want to be an EWB. Guarantee that engineering degree. You know you want to be an EWB. Hanging out with my boy Matty P. You know you want to be an EWB. You think it every time you see me. You know you want to be an EWB. Having fun, helping those in need.
Hey, what's up? Now it's time for the local in the chat. Yeah, our memes stay vocal. In Columbus, we're humanitarian moguls. COVID may have paused us, never stop, stay hopeful. Hit us up if you want to lend a hand. Partnering with orgs, our project's prepped and planned. And this year, we worked on new ways to expand. You know that you love local, come support our brand.
What's up? Digital Money Original. Our grants feed this club like they're nutritional. Slide in DMs, we make your problems fixable. It's almost too good, you might think we are mythical.
That's right.
You know you wanna be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
Hey.
FMS, we're behind the scenes. Fundraising, financing your dreams. Marketing, they show us up by any means. And social keeps us connected behind our screens. Our blood, sweat, and tears, it's the reason you're here. You can thank us later for success in your careers.
You're welcome.
EW bangers help us persevere. Put your money where your mouth is. Keep the screen in gear.
You know you want to be in EWB, guaranteed. That engineering degree.
Hey.
You know you want to be in EWB, hanging out with my boy Matty P.
Yes,
you know you want to be in EWB. You think about it every time you see me. You know you want to be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
You know you want to be in EWB. That engineering degree. You know you want to be in EWB, hanging out with my boy Matty P. You know you want to be in EWB. You think it every time you see me. You know you want to be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
WB, baby. Digital money.
I mean, it was better a second time. I mean, I didn't even notice the pictures before with like the memes about it, but I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for letting us do that. I appreciate that. I kind of took over the stream a little bit there, but I needed to see it. I needed to see it again.
I think it was totally justified. I think everyone is happy that we're getting to see it again.
Yes.
Like you said, I didn't even mention the word art that they had going on.
Yeah. I mean,
so
it's a piece of art, and the more time, it's like reading a good book multiple times. I mean, you're gonna see new things every time. You're gonna have connections, connect.
Exactly. Oh,
I know exactly.
Nice. So moving forward with the next segment, we're gonna have our Ed Boys committee come up. Even though we say Ed Boys, there's obviously very cool. It's not just subject to the men in the group. So going forward, we're gonna have that committee kind of talk about our agricultural education workshop that we'll be putting on.
Hello, Livestream. My name is Hannah Toth, and I'm the committee lead for the Agricultural Education Committee. The Agricultural Education Committee, also known as EdBoys, serves as the foundation for agricultural and sanitation knowledge for our project in Najah. Although our team has evolved over the years, one of our primary goals is researching and developing crops and investigating sanitation issues. This year has looked much different than other years, but this group has persevered and created amazing things. The fall semester was focused on creating beautiful and informative posters, and this semester has been focused on developing a sanitation workshop for our travel team. There are 4 different committees in the International Projects group, and Ed Boyce is just one of those. However, we are one of the longest standing committees as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt. I hope you're enjoying the live stream so far. And I'm a third year student, so I've been a part of this committee for a long time. As you can see, an old picture of me here from 2 years ago. And like Hannah was saying, the agricultural education has been a long-standing part of our project. It is really essential to our overall project because the community themselves does not have a strong understanding of growing like a large variety of crops. They're very familiar with a few staple crops, but we're trying to address problems with malnutrition in their community. So growing a variety of crops can help with that. And our committee is focused on creating like the educational resources to help the community grow those crops and just overall improve their yield in their garden. And then these changes will ultimately lead to the long-term sustainability of our project, because an engineering solution by itself will not have any meaningful change within the community.
Hi everyone, my name's Laura. I'm a first year mechanical engineering student, and Graham and I are going to talk about the posters we made last semester. So just some general info, like Matt said, we were asked to develop informational posters for the people in Nijao to help them plant, harvest, and prepare crops more efficiently and safely. And these posters will eventually go with the travel team where they'll hopefully be able to be put to good use once we're able to travel again.
I'm Graham. I'm also first year. I'm an environmental policy major. And so this year with our posters, we created 2 types. We made crop posters and agricultural posters. The ones that you just saw, these past 2 slides, are agricultural practices posters. And our main goal with the posters was to be able to communicate the ideas effectively without worrying about a language barrier. So that meant using a lot of pictures to illustrate what we were trying to get across instead of just a bunch of words. And yeah, so with the composting poster, as you can see, we talked about like the different cycles that composting goes through, the different needs that it has. And we did 2 types. We covered composting that's uncovered and composting that is covered.
So we decided it would be important to include like sanitation practices because they obviously need to be safe with what they like consume and how they clean everything, especially with the water quality there. And we wanted to help prevent the spread of illnesses there. So that was pretty much the point of this poster, along with the composting posters. And then the majority of the first semester, we worked on crop posters, and we worked individually to research each crop and create these posters, and we made about 15 total.
Yeah, for each crop, we focused on a couple essential categories for growing crops, which was planting, harvesting, watering, seasons, and preparation or cooking. And we did that because we wanted to make sure that we had an in-depth description of how to successfully grow each crop. Preparation portion also ties into the sanitation that we talked about before, because a lot of the women cooking in Nijao would just boil a lot of their food endlessly just to be safe, because the water they use can't be consumed, just to make sure they kill all the bacteria. And we wanted to provide alternate ways to prepare their food that would be better tasting.
But yeah, talking about boiling the crops, I think on the next slide, it was like a funny example. We were doing watermelon and cucumbers, and these are like obviously usually consumed raw here. But since their water isn't safe to consume, we had to figure out like ways to prepare cucumbers and like ways to cook them so that they are able to consume them. And we ended up figuring out that watermelon was actually safe to consume raw. But for a while we thought we had to like grill it or something, but I don't think that ended up being a good option.
We found some good recipes for watermelon steaks though. And one of our biggest challenges was figuring out how much water each crop needed, because a lot of the research that we did online came back with really weird units for like inches per week. And all of the watering that happens in Ajao is by the bucketful. So it would have been hard to translate into what they use every day. So one of our fearless leaders, Matt, made a part of our Excel sheet to transfer the units that we found online into ones that were more understandable for by the bucket load by week. And we did make the sanitation agricultural practice poster earlier, but we also spent a lot of this semester working on a sanitation workshop because it's a topic that is extremely important, especially with people who we've been told don't necessarily know all there is to know about these kinds of things. As far as we know, there isn't anybody there that does and can teach them about it. So we went ahead and researched essential topics about sanitation, cleaning food before you eat it, making sure your compost is safe to be around, and separating tools that you use for different topics or different activities. And we came up with ways to illustrate how these processes are necessary and helpful and can quite literally save lives in their community. And we came up with some fun activities to illustrate those points.
Hi, my name is Bethany. I'm a first-year electrical engineering major, and I helped to work on some of the sanitation research for the workshop. Like Graham was talking about earlier, we came up with some really fun ideas on how to teach sanitation practices to the people in Ajao, like using pepper and soap, and then showing how the soap picks up the pepper to illustrate germs. And then more on the research side, we try to think of questions people would have if you're coming in to just learning about sanitation and why you would want to do that. So we had to look up some pretty interesting questions, like what happens if you ingest compost, or why you want to wash your hands after you touch certain things or throw away damaged produce. So it was pretty cool to learn more about life cycles and how different fruits resemble each other when you're trying to show what happens.
Thank you, everyone. And then just to wrap up this segment, we thought we'd throw in some pictures from the garden so you're able to kind of see what our work is going towards. So in this picture along the front, you can see a fence that was constructed a couple of years ago as part of the overall community garden project. And also towards the left edge of the picture, you can see a tank stand and water tank that was installed at the end of 2019 as part of our project. And then this picture, you can see 3 of the taps were installed as part of the same implementation. And then our latest work involves sending one of our partners from Senegal to visit our community of Zhao, the community that we're working with. And he is going to present a bunch of agricultural workshops for the communities. And that is planned to happen over the summer of 2021. So hopefully very soon. And he will be able to kind of get some progress on the project and help provide the community with the knowledge they need to make the project sustainable. Thanks again for listening to our work, and we hope you're enjoying the live stream.
All right. Well, thank you to Ed Boys for what they've been doing. As Matt mentioned, they've been the work we've done for a while, which I think is important a bit, that we're not just going into these communities, building a water system and saying, all right, you got, see you later. We're building relationships as much as we can. A lot more than just engineering engineering or just putting in something. That we're working with them. They're giving us ideas about their agriculture, giving them ideas back. It's for over 3 years now. Just trying to make sure that we're we can, as well as learn from the community as much as we can. So Ed Boys, I think, has been a huge club. It's kind of been unknown a little bit, and especially for a lot of people thinking about Engineers Without Borders, you wouldn't think that is something you would normally do.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like a soft skill with engineering. Like, not everything that we do is very technical. We're not always creating designs or writing code. Sometimes it is really just building a relationship with our community. And that's actually a great segue to our next talk, which would be our Community Engaged Program Award. So, just to show you guys up close, since this is the first time we've got an award, physical glass like this, it's pretty exciting. From Ohio State, just having a really great relationship with all the communities that we work with. It's something that we emphasize a lot through all of our projects, whether it's local or international. A lot of what we do is really just, like given you said, it's not just implementing something, walking away. It's really great, we did all these things. It's really making sure that everything that we do is really for their best interest, and we actually give them the ownership.
Right. It's all community driven with everything that we do, that they're taking the initiatives on their ideas, and we're just there to facilitate. We're there to help, just to make sure that they're getting what they need. They know what they need more than a bunch of college kids walking in there. So we make sure we listen as best we can, and we were rewarded for it, which feels good.
Yeah, it is a really nice feeling, always getting an award. Like I said, the first time this is hard glass like this. Usually it's a nice little paper sheet that we pass around through the years, so I don't know, it feels good for us. But back to the live stream now, we can kind of talk about our donations for the last couple of minutes since the last segment. Now we're at a new total segment. So again, thank you for the recent donors. That was Ben Dirge and Ben Carpenter. So thank you both Bens. We really appreciate time out of your day to even watch the live stream in general. And then also just being able to donate to our projects. Like, we've been harping on this entire time. All the money is going back to the community that we're working with, whether that is local or international.
So yeah, thank you. Thank you for everyone donating. Yeah. Which is actually the final segment of the Lab Partner. So if some of you are new or some of you can't remember what's been going on, currently Charlotte is winning that. So I guess I should say the point of it is trying to determine what major of engineering you'd want to have as your lab partner. So we had 4 majors. Currently Charlotte is in first place as a chemical engineering major. I can't exactly remember the placements of everyone else, but Charlotte is leading the way, and now we're going to watch and see how this finishes and see who would be the best lab partner.
Yeah, it really is a lot of weight on their backs to represent the entire discipline, so
yeah,
there's a lot riding on this decision, so I'm excited to get to see where we end up.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Lab Partner. We are on to our 3rd and final lab. This will be the deciding lab. And today we're doing an Mechie/aerospace lab. So what that looks like is our 4 amazing contestants are going to be making a paper airplane. And the way I'm going to judge this is totally objectively. What we're going to do is they're just going to throw it as far as they can. Person who throws it the farthest wins. Tiebreakers, however, will be decided by myself based on the decoration of their planes. So it's important to both have a functional plane, but also keep in the back of your head, contestants, that you do need some design here within these planes. So with that being said, I will give our contestants 3 minutes to complete their first airplane, and start now. Again, we can see that both Charlotte and Caleb immediately drop to a knee. Goodness. Paige has to stay up. So just saying, Charlotte is currently in first place. Right now, everyone is chasing her. Remember, contestants, tight creases mean good increases to your distance that you will be thrown with. Also important to note, the contestants do have 2 pieces of paper. The idea is that if they mess up, they can use another piece of paper to make another airplane. However, they can also use the second piece of paper to improve their first airplane. You have to get that weight distribution, which Cassidy is reminding us of. Caleb, you're the Mechie here. You're kind of your domain. Anything to say to the people at home?
No.
He says no. He is so invested in his paper airplane. He does not care about the viewer. He doesn't care about this competition. He cares about the pure science of it all. That's why he's so focused.
I have no idea what I was.
Notice Cassidy is doing something. She tore off one piece of paper. And she's going for broke, people. She is in last place, but she has got a lot of pride and a lot of effort. So we like to see that. So you guys got 1 minute and 20 seconds left on your designs here. No one has begun the decoration phase. In fairness, that is the least important part of this. So I'm a little bummed out. I'm sure the viewers are at home. They did want to see some pretty airplanes. I see so many boring airplanes in the air right now. So this is kind of something I was hoping for. Charlotte has begun the decoration phase. Good, because I believe you guys are at sub 1 minute. I'll go back and check. "30 seconds left. 30 seconds. All of our contestants are currently decorating. All sorts of different designs. Actually, 4 very different looking airplanes. I'll let the viewers see after they're done, but we'll get a close up of all of them. Some interesting design choices here. I guess that's why we're different engineering majors. You got different brains. And time is up. I didn't really guys give you a warning, but you know, sometimes lab reports don't have, I don't know. It's a life lesson. So, let's quickly take a close up look at all of our airplanes, starting with Cassidy, of course.
Wing stabilizers. I have a WB for the win and WB is the best.
Okay, do you have a name for your airplane?
WB for the win.
All right, I should have realized that. You already told me. All right, Paige, moving on. Talk to us about your airplane.
So we got beautiful Air Page, got a little face, and we got some aeronautical designs on top.
Yes, she knows what she's doing. CSE major here. All right, Caleb.
We have this, the block O's on both sides, and I really didn't follow any design at all. I just hope it works.
Looks sleek. Do you have a name for it? Block O, maybe?
Yeah, block O.
Block O. Block O the airplane,
Block O
everybody.
speaker.
All right, Charlotte, our final contestant. What do we have here?
We went for distance, hoping that helped with some aerodynamic. Decorated with Chemi, and it's called the Chemi WB.
Excellent pun. Excellent pun. Excellent pun. We'll put the camera back. Following our next commercial break, we are going to test these bad boys out by seeing who can throw it the farthest. Stay tuned, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are on the final experiment at the final testing stage. So, what we're going to have our contestants do is stand behind that table over there and throw their airplane as far as they can over towards you. You'll get a great point of view here. So, just a quick reminder though, Charlotte, our Chemi, is in first place with 3 points. And we actually have a tie for second place. Our Mechie, Caleb, and our CSE Paige are both at 5 points. So they're in striking distance of Charlotte. This is an important last experiment. And then Cassidy is bringing it in the rear with 7 points. She cannot win, but she can get not last place, which is important for the prize. So, without further ado, we're going to have Charlotte, our chemical engineer, throw first. That did go off the screen, but I can see it and I can see how far it went. So, next up is Caleb, or Mechie. That's tough for Caleb, but Paige, let's see what she can do here. Also kind of tough. All right, let's see. Okay, everybody. So, it's fairly obvious that Charlotte did end up winning this experiment as well. Hers by far went the farthest, and it's tough to say, but we have. There was a couple flips from Cassidy. Actually, there's a couple flips from all the people. I would say Caleb would get second place here. He looks further. Cassidy, third place. Paige, I don't even know how you did this.
I don't know what happens.
I mean, it almost hits you again. It's a boomerang. So, last place is Paige. So, stay with us right after this commercial break. We're going to give you the final standing. Who wins, who loses. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the final part of our show, the results section. So you guys are all wondering, when I have a surprise lab report in some random class and I need to pick my partner based solely off their major, what should I do? We're here to let you know. So, rounding up the back in fourth place is Cassidy, our civil engineer. Next up is Paige, our CSE, followed by Caleb, our Mechie, and in first place is our chemical engineer, Charlotte. So let's take a look at our winners. And there they are. And you can see Caleb is almost too tall for our podium, but Charlotte is above him. So you can see our winners. Congratulations to you all. Thank you for participating. I hope everyone, all of our viewers are having a good day. Thank you all for watching. Please donate.
All right, ready? Well, that's really nice. It feels really nice after that tier list that we had to have chemis come out on top.
Go chemis.
Ultimately.
Go chemis. Go chemis. Yeah. That's all we're going to say. Go chemis.
Yeah, I think it really is a metaphor that people just really want chemis to be at the bottom, but we always really come out at the top. So I don't know what anyone else has to say about that. I think that's the lesson.
But yes, that was a fun competition. I was glad I got to be the host of that. A lot of pressure, but you know, I think it went well. I think it went well, which was fun.
Next lab, I'll be talking to you, Charlotte. So yeah, thanks for making that really easy on us. But before we move to anything else, we'd like to recap our donations. So at this point, 2222, and I want to think
it's pretty to see.
It is nice to see.
222.
You know, we had to kind of slice it up so that we would say it at this time. It's really pretty. So thank you to our individual donors being Brittany Hugh, Flo, Florence Piotowski, Petrowski, Andrew, Amy Lorlano, and Taylor Schwein. Thank you guys all for helping out. Again, all of your donations are going straight to our projects, and it really does go a long way for us, especially with new project costs coming in.
Absolutely. We've heard about the new project coming in. So we're going to have 2 projects going on at the same time for the very first time. So
yeah,
fundraisers like this are even more important for us than they have been in the past. So
yeah,
seriously, thank you everybody who's donated so far.
Yeah, and so to kind of recap our past, that would be a nice segue to kind of look back at our international projects and all the past travel videos that we've had. It's really nice to just kind of recap, see some of our alumni in the actual country, and kind of see the community members who we don't really get to see as much anymore, being in the COVID situation. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it back to our travel video mentor and watch that segment that we have now.
There's a place I go to when no one knows me. It's not lonely, it's a necessary thing. It's a place I made up, find out what I made up. The nights I've stayed up, counting stars and playing sleep. Let it wash over me, ready to lose my feet. Take me off to the place where one reveals life's mystery. Steady on down the line, lose every sense of time. Take it all in and wake up that small part of me. Day to day I'm blind to see and find how far to go. Everybody got their reason, everybody got their way. We're just catching and releasing what builds up throughout the day. It gets into your body and it flows right through your blood. We can tell each other secrets and remember how to love. Da-da-dum, da-dum, dum. Da-dum, dum, dum.
First word you done all this camp. First word.
Da-dum, da-dum, dum, dum. Da-dum, dum, dum. Da-dum, dum. There's a place I'm going, no one knows. If I breathe real slow, let it out and let it in. It can be terrifying to be slowly dying, also clarifying. We end where we begin, so let it wash over me. I'm ready to lose my feet. Take me off to the place where one reveals life's mystery. Steady on down the line, lose every sense of time. Take it all in and wake up that small part of me. Day to day I'm blind to see and find how far to go. Everybody got their reason, everybody got their way. We're just catching and releasing what builds up throughout the day. It gets into your body, flows right through your blood. We can tell each other secrets and remember how to love. Da-da-dum, da-dum, dum, dum. Da-dum, dum, dum. Da-dum, dum. Da-da-dum, da-dum, dum, dum. Da-dum, dum, dum. Da-dum, dum.
Ready. Alright. Well, it's always nice to see the travel videos again. It's kind of like reliving the past, even though I wasn't there. I don't know. Maybe you can kind of...
Past. Those travel trips are amazing for so many. You get impacted by the community. They impact you. There's so much that goes on with those things. So much planning, so much work we do, so many hours we spend here. Like 95% of our work is obviously done in Columbus, but to actually get to go out there and planning all the connections you made is something, I mean, you can't get anywhere else. It's a feeling of doing something, you've done something. It's a fantastic feeling.
Exactly. And right now, when we're all kind of Zoom fatigued out, it's kind of just nice to see all the actual like real world impact that we're maybe like, new to the organization, and we sit in a Zoom link and do all this help with this project I didn't even see. But it's really nice to just get to kind of see that through, I mean, third person, obviously, but again, we'll be soon back to the community.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's a nice little hope for everyone who's joining now.
So we've actually had some fantastic news. Within when we were playing those videos, we hit our goal of $3,000. I mean, it's just fantastic. I didn't know we were gonna do it, and we crushed it. We crushed our goal. Some huge donations at the very end there. We're at $3,746, which I mean, that's amazing. I mean, every cent of that is it helps us so much with our local stuff, our international stuff. the things we're able to do with this money, I mean, we can impact so many different things, do so many different things. So huge shout out to these next donation, the next people who donated. So Pam and Bill Wise, Consumer Products, Joseph Adams, and the Mima and Oompa Evans. Thank you. Every single cent counted for this. I guarantee you, we are going to do so much good with this money.
Yeah, and just to kind of conceptualize how much money that really is, that's enough to finance about 6 local projects, which is what we do in about an entire year. So this is everything that we give back to the community within this last year has now been funded through this fundraiser. So again, really thank you from the bottom. This really means a lot to all the projects that we've had and all the impact that not only us but you guys too are making, and we are able to do everything because of you guys. So once again, thank you so much to everyone who's donated. Yes,
that we were able to get this. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's really a great feeling. But to kind of transition to our last segment now, we'll move into the money team again, and what they'll do is review some of the chicken tender. So without further ado, we'll kind of get their input on that.
And after that, we will have our conclusions, make sure we thank everybody. But thank you to everyone who's watched so far, still with us. Thank you. But without further ado, Matt, please.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Chicken Mukbang, brought to you by the Money Team from EWB. I'm Matt, I'm the treasurer of EWB, and we're currently busy organizing and setting up the live stream, so we're recording this a little bit early, but gonna eat a whole bunch of different chicken. We got Popeyes, we got Chick-fil-A, we got Cane's, and we even got Ohio State's Mirror Lake chicken, so we got a big variety of stuff. And yes, thank you all for watching the live stream. We're hoping you're enjoying it. And thank you for any donations that have been made. Feel free to chime in with your opinion too in the chat on what you're thinking.
All right, so we'll just introduce ourselves real quick. Matt just said his introduction. I'm Ethan. I'm the digital fundraising chair for EWB.
I'm Emery. I'm the corporate sponsorship chair for EWB.
I'm Michael. I'm the events fundraising chair for EWB.
When we get started, what are we eating first?
Well, let's have the Mirror Lake first.
Mirror Lake?
Okay.
All right. So, our first question, just to get this going, we have the dumbest way that each of us has been injured. Does anyone have any really good stories?
I mean, I've had several stories of bad bone breaks. The first one was in 2nd grade. We were playing tag on a playground set, and I didn't want to get tagged, so I fell backwards off of a slide and broke my arm instead of getting tagged. So nice. I don't know if anyone else has one that can top that.
When I was, I don't know, maybe in middle school or something, I grew up in a really small town, and there were like a lot of abandoned buildings like around, and we were like exploring this one building, and I was just walking and the floor just fell right through, and I fell a story down into the basement of this building, and I twisted my ankle. I didn't actually break it, but I looked behind me, and there's this steel rod that was sticking right where my head was. Definitely deserved to die. I don't know who was watching out for me that day, but I don't know. It was a good one. That was a good time.
That's some Final Destination.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Danger seeker, man.
Definitely.
I haven't had anything like that.
Luckily. I broke my thumb the second week I was at OSU, and I'd never broken a bone before. I was just playing basketball, so it wasn't that stupid. But just got to Ohio State, and I was trying to figure out all this stuff and trying to figure out where I could go to get it fixed and everything. I had no car, I didn't know where anything was, and I ended up walking over an hour to get to this one spot to get x-rays and stuff for it. So it's definitely a journey, but I guess I got to know Ohio State a little bit better after walking around and doing all that.
Should we go on to the next chicken strip?
I think we should.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Emery?
Let's do canes.
Alright,
I'm feeling some canes.
Second question is, what did we want to be when we grew up, when we were kids?
I'm gonna go with basketball player. We're currently in my apartment. I know for anyone that knows me well, we got the Celtics ties. I'm double repping today with the flag and the shirt. And yeah, when I was a little kid, I definitely wanted to just be a basketball player, be an NBA player. Shout out to KG, Isaiah Thomas, Jalen Brown, all my Celtics. But yeah, that was the dream, man.
I was kind of the opposite. I was definitely a dinosaur kid growing up. I love dinosaurs. I read Dinotopia when I was like 4, all the way through. So paleontology all the way.
You don't want to be a dinosaur?
No. I used to know like 50 different types of dinosaurs. I know like 3 now, but I used to know a lot.
I wanted to be a lawyer for a brief bit.
What type of lawyer?
I don't know. That was like the Law and Order thing, because that's really my only reference that I have. I was like, that's just lawyer, you know? I didn't know there's actual different subcategories until later. But I gave up on that because apparently I'm not good with confrontation.
I was really into Legos as a kid, so I wanted to be like a Lego designer who would like make like the Lego sets and stuff. I thought that'd be so cool.
What was your favorite Lego set growing up?
Oh, I had it's not like the big $800,000 one, but I had a smaller Millennium Falcon.
Oh, nice.
It was so cool. It was so awesome.
I had, from the Star Wars, the Clone Wars movie, I had like the Twilight ship growing up, and that one was my favorite Lego set. Yeah.
Legos are great.
Not to one up your Lego sets, but my dining room when I was a kid, we didn't have any furniture. We just had Legos. Like the whole room, was like dedicated for Legos. Honestly. And I had a bunch of the Lego City sets and all kinds of stuff.
My gosh.
And I had a friend that would come over. He had a sister in high school that would like babysit us, and he would just come over almost every day over the summer, and we'd just go away into this Lego town and just chip away at building all kinds of stuff, having like a detailed Lego society. We had like an ongoing like story with like characters for like 5 years of just this one Lego like town.
Yeah, that's a bit more intense than my life.
Once I saw the price tag on the sets, I was like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not that many. But
yeah.
All right. Next up, I'm thinking Popeyes.
Okay.
We had some. I think the Popeyes is the most interesting chicken. It has the most breading and stuff. So
the crispiest.
Yeah.
What's our next question, Ethan?
All right. Question number 3. Do you believe in ghosts? And do you have any ghost stories to tell? I feel like Matt should answer this first because he really seemed to like this question when we brought it out.
Okay, so my short answer is yes, but I'm a believer because I got the story with it as well. So I was walking through like the main like living room area, and I got like the ghost like hello voice, and they did have a parrot though, so they got the bird. This is like I'm like okay, it was just a bird. Let's relax, let's chill. And then we're up in our hotel or like room in the inn or whatever. And then my dad left something in the car. He made me go get it. And I'm like paranoid at this point. It's like 10 p.m. dark. I'm like whatever. I'm like, I guess I got you, man. So I run out to go back out to the car, pick it up, and on the way back in, the exact same spot I was standing in the first time, and the exact same voice. I got another hello, and after that, I was booking it. I was running back up to the room. That's my encounter. That's all I need to know, man. I'm a believer. Emma, you want to go next? We're having our Popeyes chicken.
Yeah.
So
I've been to New Orleans, and of course I went on a ghost tour there. So I haven't actually seen any ghosts, but going past Madame Lalauerie's house, I feel like I'm at least ghost agnostic, because there has to be like something out there. It can't be just like no ghost anywhere. So that's where I'm at with ghosts.
I have a very similar philosophy like that. You know, I haven't had any sightings myself, but you know, I feel like there's got to be something out there. You know, like I read this one. I was reading this one book, and it was talking about how like if people hadn't like the existence of the word ghost and the idea of ghosts would exist from some point of someone. Like they wouldn't have just come up with the idea of that. Most likely, they would have had to have seen it, and it's like something that's like multicultural. It happens without like connection to other things, without people knowing about it. So I feel like it's got to be like it's got to be something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have any?
No, I don't. We sort of have like a joke about my house because when my dad remarried, my stepmother was very like spiritual and believed in ghosts as part of like her culture and things. And I don't. But it was very interesting because she very firmly believed that there was a ghost in the house because she kept hearing like really like close breathing by her ears when no one else was in the room. So that really freaked her out. So we just kind of like joked that there's a Mr. Ghost in our house, but none of us really actually believed it.
Nice. I mean, even if it's not like a physical presence, I'm sure there's like some sort of like psychological ghost out there. Which, I don't know.
Yeah. Energy, you know?
Yeah. Energy.
Alright.
On to the last chicken strip.
The last chicken strip.
Which is Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Original.
The last thing we're going to get into here before we wrap up our chicken mukbang is, of course, we can't leave without the power ranking of the chicken. I'll get started, then we'll go down the line. So this is unfortunately, the loser of our personal opinion of our chicken.
There's
our
no
chicken
losers
tenders.
when it comes to chicken strips, okay? They're
Okay,
just not
okay,
winners.
that's fair.
Okay?
That's a good way to put it. So I am going to rank the. I actually got Popeyes in my fourth place for Popeyes.
All right. I'm putting Mirror Lake in for it personally. I think it's just Walmart. sorry, it was you.
The Walmart brand? You guys have my that?
The Costco brand.
I'm with you, Ethan. I also have Mirror Lake in my fourth. It's just the sauce is worse than Cane's, and the chicken is also worse than Cane's. So.
Unfortunately, I do have to agree. I liked Mirror Lake. It was good, but I think I kept expecting more. The breading looked like it had more to it than what it actually tasted like, unfortunately.
All right.
My third place, kind of falling in line a little bit. I am putting Mirror Lake in third. I get it every week. I got my Ohio State ties, of course, but yeah, third place for Mirror Lake.
All right, to keep it the pattern, I have to put Popeyes in third, and just have to leave top tier for 1 and 2.
I'm going to put Cane's in third place. It has the best sauce, but I think the chicken itself is a little bit lacking.
I felt Popeyes. I really like the texture of Popeyes, but I didn't feel like there was anything else to it. So unfortunately, they got third place, and I feel like Cane's sort of got better because of the sauce. You know, Cane is a pair.
That's fair, yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking here we got to reveal our number ones now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would just kind of spoil the winner.
Right.
Yeah. So we did 4 and 3. My number one favorite chicken, gotta lock in that Chick-fil-A. Doesn't get better than Chick-fil-A, man.
Personally, if I were grading it with the sauce combined, Cane's would take the spot. But chicken, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I think I'll have to agree with you. Chick-fil-A is just a very good chicken all around.
Yeah. I liked Cane's with the sauce, but the Chick-fil-A just had the most amount of chicken. I felt like I got the best value for it, and I appreciate that.
Very well put.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you all for watching. Well, I'm sure you've already been in the chat letting us know what you think.
Lighting us up.
But yeah, I hope you enjoyed our chicken mukbang. I certainly enjoyed it. Gotta eat a bunch of chicken and hopefully fundraise some money. So thank you for anybody that's made any donations today, and all that's going towards like our great projects. I'm sure we'll learn more about and see stories from as we continue in the live stream. So thank you, everyone.
I think we'd like to take none of the sauces were tested.
Yeah. But in fairness, they're testing the chicken, and that's that should be. There's no, it's kind of like added stuff as the sauce.
Right.
Chicken is just pure, and it's been a huge debate, I guess. You just hear about it all the time.
Right.
So thank you, Money Team, for really breaking that down for us. I mean, now I feel like I have a definitive answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good. So thank you to them.
Thank you, Money Team. And before we head out with everything, something we want to do is kind of just hand out roses to everyone who's kind of been involved. So to start off, we'll take, if you've noticed, they've been sitting here the whole time. Hopefully you've been paying attention. And hopefully I don't knock anything over. But the first rose is going to be to all of our donors.
So as we've been saying this whole time, we can't do anything without donations. We need money to make the impacts we want to make. We're happy to put the groundwork in. We're happy to spend the time and supply ourselves. So without the donors, we really can't do it. So seriously, everyone who donated, it doesn't matter how much you donated, it's going to a good cause. We couldn't do anything we do without you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and again, and that's going to go in really because of the donors is what we're able to do before.
And then before, we had a couple last donors. So we'll say Jennifer Brunel and Marie Tafiq both donated a grand total of $3,832, which is it smashed our goal. I thought our goal was really optimistic, and we hit it.
It turns out we really have to start thinking bigger.
Yeah. So we're gonna get some more projects. We're gonna spend this money on really important things.
You just donated.
And we couldn't do without you. And we just had one more donation, so this is great. The donations keep rolling in, which is great for us. Maggie donated to us, which is awesome. It's great to see people giving back to us. So our grand total is, and we're doing the calculations as we speak, is $3,866. So thank you. That is a huge total, as you were saying.
It is. It really is, yeah. From the bottom of all our hearts, thank you to all of the donors. Again, we keep harping on this. We can't really say it enough. Thank you. All of the work that we're able to do is thanks to everyone that donates.
Absolutely.
So if you'd like to take it over with our next rose.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have gotten any of these donations without throwing this live stream fundraiser. And there's been so many people aren't getting to see. So this next rose goes to both the people making these videos as well as our production team, the three people behind the camera, and hopefully you see their hand right there, receiving that rose. Matt Parsons, sorry.
Matt Parsons, Emery, and Michael, along with Ethan, they've done a lot of work behind the scenes. So we've had a lot of people who come on and do segments as well. So thank you to everyone who's put the time together to do this on top of their already difficult leadership role. A lot of the people that came on and talked were leads for entire projects that have been going on for many years. So then to put aside some time to really help everyone who's been putting so much effort into this live stream is really just kind of classic EWB. Everyone's really willing to reach out a hand for anyone else that really needs any sort of help.
Absolutely.
And so to transition to our final rose, I mentioned EWB. This final rose is to the greater EWB family. What this means isn't just EWB as like our volunteers and our members, and all of our donors. That includes everyone that has donated today and in the past. Pretty much everyone who goes into helping one of our projects come to fruition, and really just making sure that everything that we're doing is the right thing that we should be doing.
Right. It takes so many moving parts. It takes so many people to be able to do what we do. So thank you to anyone and everyone involved in EWB. It's a great organization, and we're making big impacts. So it's great to see that.
Yeah. And so just to finally wrap it all up, again, thank you to everyone who's taken the time to donate, to watch this. Thank you for all of our alumni that is still a part of the organization, even after graduation. Thank you to all of our actual professional engineers in EWB USA, anyone who helped sanitation, anything like that. So yeah, just one big round of applause for everyone who's put everything together here. So to leave you guys off on a good note, we're gonna actually, for the third time now, play that song back, just because we want to live it out to the best it should be lived to. So Matt, I'm gonna hand it off to you to play off the final song.
And thank you. This was Andrew and Ryan. We appreciate everything you did for us. We were happy to spend 3 hours with you. And thank you again for the donations and the time.
WB, baby. Digital money.
Mr. Worldwide, engineers with no borders, international, no project out of order, laying brick and mortar, engaging with new culture. Community designed is the best way forward.
Yes,
Columbus to Naja, we stay communicating, checking on the garden, make sure it's irrigating, flexing committee names and solutions they're creating. We're the favorite in the club. It's time to start donating.
Lego.
It's DM, spitting every syllable. We make this club so irresistible. Funding projects that are just unequivocal. Yes, we are. Money, comma, digital.
You know you want to be an EWB. Guarantee that engineering degree. You know you want to be an EWB. Hanging out with my boy Matty P. You know you want to be an EWB. You think it every time you see me. You know you want to be an EWB. Having fun, helping those in need.
Hey, what's up? Now it's time for the local in the chat. Yeah, our memes stay vocal. In Columbus, we're humanitarian moguls. COVID may have paused us, never stop, stay hopeful. Hit us up if you want to lend a hand. Partnering with orgs, our project's prepped and planned. And this year, we worked on new ways to expand. You know that you love local, come support our brand.
What's up? Digital Money Original. Our grants feed this club like they're nutritional. Slide in DMs, we make your problems fixable. It's almost too good, you might think we are mythical.
That's right.
You know you want to be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
Hey. FMS, we're behind the scenes. Fundraising, financing your dreams. Marketing, they show us off by any means. And social keeps us connected behind our screens. Our blood, sweat, and tears is the reason you're here. You can thank us later for success in your career.
You're welcome.
EW bears help us persevere. Put your money where your mouth is. Keep the screen in gear.
You know you want to be in EWB, guaranteed. That engineering degree. Hey. You know you want to be in EWB, hanging out with my boy Matty P. Yes, you know you want to be in EWB. You think about it every time you see me. You know you want to be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
You know you want to be in EWB. Skirt. That engineering. You know you want to be in EWB, hanging out with my boy Matty P. You know you want to be in EWB. Every time you see me. You know you want to be in EWB, having fun, helping those in need.
WB, baby.